HH, brother. We live in a world now post Hulk Hogan. This is how we will divvy up our timeline. We used to say like the interwar period, the post-war, pre-war period. Now we are in the pre-HH, the during HH, and the after HH periods. So obviously Hulk Hogan, one of the best, most prolific posters of the Kiwi Farms, is dead. So I figured I would play his intro, a song that is actually so famous it escapes the world of wrestling and is just regular song at that point. I have to sneeze really bad. By the way, before I begin doing my podcast shtick, how's my mic? On this podcast I have a fun bit. This is a bit like all the other bits that I do. Every time you tune in, you have absolutely no idea how my mic is going to sound. Joe Rogan probably has like a proper setup with like an audio engineer who has like his way of doing things. And every time you tune into the Joe Rogan experience, you get a Joe Rogan that sounds exactly like the same Joe Rogan 3,000 episodes in. My podcast, my microphone, it's a fucking crapshoot. There's 100% chance that I was fucking with it mere minutes before pressing live. I haven't even listened to what I sound like. I have no idea. So yeah, Chuck Mangione, who's a famous King of the Hill characters, 2 King of the Hill characters dead now. Everyone's dropping fucking dead. And you know why? It's weird. It's like all these people that you know are dying. They're dying because they're old. But it just goes to show you that all the media that you cherish is from the 90s. Like everything after 9/11 is just fucking garbage. And it'll never be good again, basically. We're in a completely cultureless era of just insipid bullshit. I was watching a video right before the stream started. It was suggested to me by the algorithm, so I watched it just out of boredom while I was fucking around and fucking up my microphone right before the stream. It was a 8 million view video about how Valve created Left 4 Dead, and the Turtle Rock guys that made that Back 4 Blood game years ago basically had nothing to do with the success of Left 4 Dead. And I've listened to all the developer commentary for all the Valve games when the games were brand new, and I remembered a lot of these things that they talk about, but you really take it for granted until you compare it to new age slop. Like they had a psychologist on board to do studies about how players would or would not cooperate as a team, and instead of just like punishing players more severely for not cooperating as a team to incentivize them, they would create things in a certain way that just naturally encouraged teamwork to the point where it was second nature. It wasn't a part of the person's psychology to want to do this. It was just, or like they had to go out of their way to actively want to do it. It was just like their monkey brain was like, yes, this is bright, so I'm going to walk here. I hear this noise, and so I am conditioned to want to get closer to people. It's like that kind of stuff. And really, when we were kids and we had Valve, and Valve was making video games for that weren't just Dota 2 skin boxes, we were spoiled as a people. We're spoiled as children. And now that's part of the reason why everyone's so sad now. Everyone's on fucking antidepressants. They grew up and now everything is mass produced by fucking Indians and it just sucks ass. And you're like sad. It's just like, wow, everything is so much worse than I remember it. And this is, I think Hulk Hogan and his enduring legacy is an example of that. I remember every time you watch any, I don't know what it is. Anytime you watch any kind of people in the sector, be it Pay or Ethan Ralph, or just any random fucking guy that has a podcast and talks about internet retards, they seem to really like wrestling. It's like a crapshoot between anime or wrestling. And I think both sides of that argument talk about the 90s like a golden era. Like, yeah, brother, back when Hulk Hogan was doing his thing with Horse John, it was the golden era of the WWE. It'll never get better than that fight between Hulk Hogan and Horse John in 1994. I'll tell you what, brother. HH. And then you listen to people talk about anime, it's like, Yeah, it really was the pinnacle with Cowboy Bebop, in the 1990s. Dragon Ball really fell off after the 2000s. It's like the exact same fucking thing. It's like, I don't know if they imported Indians. Maybe they do, but I think they do Malaysians. They do what they call, what I've been informed by the Genshin Impact community, that people from Malaysia and the Philippines are lovingly, of course, referred to as sea monkeys. So the Indians and Mexicans of the United States and Europe are the sea monkeys of Japan. So now, whenever they make an anime, the Japanese people are too fucking good to use their Wacom tablets or whatever to draw bouncing titties or whatever they put in these shows. So they just have the sea monkeys, which again is an endearing term. It's not a racial slur. It's a nice thing to call somebody. They just ship it off to that and pay them bananas to draw. So I've had a cultural exchange. I've learned a little bit more about how the world works these days. Um, hold on, tablets. That's right. So, anyways, Hulk Hogan's dead. A bunch of other people are dead. There's some other guy that died. I think the guy from Malcolm Jamal Warner. I want to say he's a midget. I think he was a midget from a show that where maybe not. I don't know. He died at like 50. It's another like that was the 80s, right? Where you had the Malcolm show or whatever. He's dead. Cosby. Oh yeah, he's from the Cosby Show. Oh, Ozzy Osbourne is dead. Much to the chagrin of our boy Josh. The not this one, the other one. Saunders, the guy from Wyoming that does magic. That does magic better than Six X and Hammer. Is it a thing in the magic community where if a seasoned magician dies, that like that magic is freed up? So now Josh can become more powerful. It's not power that he wants, that he would have traded Ozzy Osbourne for, but things take their course. A circle of protection. Okay, that's right. Yeah, I know Obviously, Ozzy Osbourne's a controversial figure. You don't have to tell me his sins. The only thing I know about him is that he bit the head off a bat in like a concert, and that's just disgusting. Bats are really, really good for the environment. They eat insects. In Florida, um, I remember I did a study when I was in community college. I took a marine biology course just because I had to take a natural science course, and we learned about how under the Mid-Bay Bridge between Destin and Niceville, there's actually a gigantic concrete box they have there, and it's used for bat habitat. And the reason why they installed it is number one to conserve the bats, but number two, they eat the average little itty bitty bat eats like a pound of mosquitoes every night. So mosquitoes are a huge problem in Florida, obviously. So they try to foster these bats. So they go out and eat 2 tons of mosquitoes every day. So I like bats, is what I'm saying, and I dislike people who disrespect bats. Is basically my point. Mosquitoes are the worst fucking thing on the planet. Um, wow, I'm completely. I feel loopy. I'm just gonna warn you right now. I feel loopy as fuck. So if I sound loopy as fuck today, it's because I am. Okay, Hulk Hogan dead. Covered that. Um, I have a legal thing. The president of the United States of America is suing the Dow Jones, the Wall Street Journal, News Corporation, which I think is NBC, Keith Rupert Murdoch, who is the owner of Fox, if I remember correctly, Robert Thompson. I imagine News Corporation is Fox News, then, if not NBC. Robert Thompson, I don't know who that is. Kadiha Safdar, which is baffling that someone named Kadiha Safdar is even in this country. And then Joseph Palozzolo. Palozzolo is like perhaps the least trustworthy name I've ever heard in my entire life. I'm immediately reminded of the demon from the show where the little girl vomits pea soup, The Exorcist. His name is Pazuzu. That's the name of the demon. It's like a real demon name. Unfortunately for the movie, it sounded very silly. So to talk about Pazuzu is like a really bad idea because even though it is like a real mythological creature, it is also the silly sounding name. It's like a mixture between Pazuzu the demon and like paparazzi. You get like Palozzolo, and it sounds like a mafioso name. So Joseph Palozzolo, I would never trust this man, is what I'm saying. He sounds like a mixture between the paparazzi, Pazuzu, and some kind of mafioso. Somehow, still a more trustworthy name than Khadija Safdar. I don't know how that happens. Anyways, Trump is suing for defamation, I believe. And he's suing, I think, for $11 billion. I believe that's correct. Falsely accusing that he authored, drew, and signed a card to the late and utterly disgraced Jeffrey Epstein. So I read that on stream. Trump is not only saying that it is fake, he's saying it is a knowing and malicious fabrication on behalf of the publications to enrich themselves at his expense, and so he seeks $11 billion. I think he's filed this in the Southern District of Florida. Southern District of Florida in Miami Division. Hey, there's a real chance that the President of the United States will be sitting in the waiting room right next to Stephen Bannell. That's a possibility. They could just be chilling together. That would be a fun interaction. Do you think Destiny would have anything to say to the President of the United States? I'm trying to think. My first thought has something to do with revenge pornography and fucking around with women. He's like, hey, you got any tips for importing somebody from Slovenia? You got any tips for Mr. President? Something like that. He'd flip. I think, well, like, flip out like a monkey. I think he would flip over a table and make a gorilla nest. What are we talking about here with him flipping? I think he would be way nicer. He wouldn't try to press the president while waiting for court. Maybe he tried to get us in. He's like, look, I'm like a podcaster, and I do like these podcasts that are really popular. And like, if you can get me like into like real politics, I'll like suck your dick. I'll get the Cheeto dust on my lips and shit, bro, just for you, bro. He'll try to like strike a deal. Like, I want an in. What do you think? If he got appointed to something, what do you think Bannell could do? I'm trying to think. Does he have any like strong points? He's really short. Like, I associate certain people with things they actually care about, like Jim Sterling. I still associate him with somebody who really cares about consumer rights. That Technology Connections guy, he cares about like consumer safety and shit. You could put him in the FTC somewhere. He'd probably do a good job, actually. Secretary of Carpet Cleaning, that's a good one. He could be the head custodial staff at the White House. Yeah, that works. Like, bro, I just want to vacuum the carpets at the White House and tell people I'm really important and I work at the White House. He could do that. That's a good idea. Chief dick sucker. That's like a legal mindset thing. Legal dick sucker, more like it. Next, Jerome Powell has been referred to by the House, specifically as single representative, to the Department of Justice for perjury. The interesting thing, and this is my conspiracy theory, okay? Trump has made many, many blasted tweets at Jerome Powell. In case you don't know, right now, the interest rate of the Federal Reserve is at a pretty historic high. I want to say it's like 6 to 7%. And that's really significant because it increases the rate at which banks pull money from the Federal Reserve. So in the United States, money does not exist. So when a bank creates a mortgage and it gives a mortgage to a lender, it doesn't actually have that money. It asks the government to print that money to give it to you. And that's why the bank actually pays the Federal Reserve back some of its money. They take a little bit themselves for handling the mortgage, but that money is basically just fake and comes out of nowhere. Oh yeah, that's right. I need a hamster for this, don't I? So the Federal Reserve sets the rate, and that is the job of the chairman, Jerome Powell, and his committee. It's a complicated process. The gist is that the Federal Reserve is a private-public cooperation. They have like 7 board members, I want to say. 4 are appointed by the government. 3 are private. There's like 1 from J.P. Morgan Chase. So it's literally like a bank that's owned by the banks and then also by the government, with the government owning a majority share. And that's why people say that the Federal Reserve is an unconstitutional system, because it is like this weird hybrid. So they get together and they set the rate. And the reason why they do this is because it combats inflation. Imagine this, right? Imagine you go to the IRS after tax season and you pay your taxes with cash money. In this world where we pay our taxes with cash money, which you can't do anymore, by the way, if you try to pay your taxes with cash, they actually charge you extra for wasting their fucking time. In this world, what would they do with the cash? They would burn it. They would take out a giant bonfire and burn your fucking money. That's what they would do if you paid your taxes in cash. Because taxes are not actually, you would imagine if you were naive, that tax money would go into a bank account. And then that would be how the government spends money from this bank account. That's not how it works. The government spends money from an infinite purse. That's the Federal Reserve that prints money the same as how they print your mortgage. And when you pay taxes, they burn it. And that's a deflationary thing to keep the amount of money in the world from spiraling out of control. So the only reason why they tax you is to burn your fucking money. Conversely, with interest rates, when you pay your mortgage back and you have a high interest rate, that money from the interest rate goes into the cash fire. And so do tariffs. All the money from tariffs go into the cash fire. So that's why they do this. They do it to keep inflation from spiraling out of control. Jerome Powell, since the end of COVID, has kept interest rates very high, which is good technically for the economy. And to round back, my schizo conspiracy theory is that Trump actually likes this, but can't say that because it hurts people. I will not be in the market for a house anytime soon, so I don't have to give a shit. But if you are in the market for a house, you're probably pulling your fucking hair out and contemplating suicide or some other violent crime, right? And that's because here, let's look at this actually. Here's NPR. NPR recently was defunded for 1.1 billion taxpayer dollars, and they deserve to be completely defunded because they write shit like this. Somebody named Obed Manuel. Let's just take a look at Obed. I want to see this guy's face, and I want to ask, why the fuck is he in my country? Like, look at this guy. Why is he in my country? Why is he in my country taking taxpayer dollars to write shit like this? Trump says cutting interest rates will make home buying cheaper. It's not that simple. This guy is a dumb fuck. He's a fucking retard. He should never be allowed to write anything, never mind at taxpayer expense. Let's just do this thing real quick, right? I think I can just go to Google and type in mortgage calculator. And let me find one more thing. 2024 average U.S. home income. 70, really? 77 is the median? I didn't say median, motherfucker. I said average. Okay, I'll just do 75. That's a nice round number, okay? So here we have a mortgage calculator. And we're going to do 30-year loan. Actually, let's do this. What can I afford? We'll do the opposite. The affordability calculator. Okay. One second. Okay. So we'll do household. Oh, it's already got this set up right. So annual income, and we'll say you have no debt, which is unreasonable. And we'll set the down payment at $0 to make this easy. So if you have an annual income of $70,000 with no down payment, you can afford up to $240,000. That's at a 7% interest rate. If the interest rate was 1%, you could afford a $400,000 house. So to give you an idea of this fucking idiot, Obed Manuel is telling you to your fucking face, my good sir, if the interest rate goes down, that does not necessarily mean that you can buy more of a house. Actually, motherfucker, if the interest rate was cut down to 1%, you could afford almost 50% more fucking house than you could before. So that's why people want the interest rate to go down. And, where am I getting? Oh, okay. My theory is that Trump is actually okay with them doing this as long as he gets to complain about it because it is better for the economy. It reduces inflation, and most people can't ever afford to buy a house. Like, we're not talking about this, okay? We're talking about the difference between 238 and 400,000. We're talking about like 35. Like, you'll never ever, because if you are making $35,000 a year, You'll never find a house for $114,000. You might find a trailer that's 20 years old in rural Kentucky, if you're lucky. But you're basically not ever going to find a house for this price at this point in time. So he knows that. And what he's saying is, look, it's better for the actual consumer pricing of household objects if the inflation rate goes down. So Mr. Powell continued to burn that money. And then people will complain, I can't buy a house even in rural Kentucky. So he says, look, I'll complain about you in public, but you just got to keep burning that fucking money, okay? I think that is my schizo conspiracy theory. That's my thought. Anyways, good luck if you're trying to buy a fucking house. The rent cucks will inherit the world after we eat the rich and the landlords. There's a house near you for $70,000. What? Where do you live? Dox yourself. Identify yourself. Can I find a house for $70,000? Just out of curiosity. Okay. Maximum price. I'll do 80,000 right here. So you're gonna find, okay, I don't want a fucking condo. I want a house. That says $5,000. That's a fucking lie. That's a fucking auction. They lie. Look at this, 666 result for under 80,000, and it's all gonna be like fucking fake auctions. Yeah, we're gonna set a minimum price of 50,000 here, because you know what? That's fucking bullshit. Actually, let's set it at 10 so we can get really shitty houses as well. I'm gonna take over Nick Rochefort's thing, and I'm going to start reviewing the Zillow listings. 12,000 in Fort Meade. This has to be a trailer and a retirement home. Yeah, that's a trailer. It's a manufactured. What is this? Yeah, that's a trailer. Okay, here we go. You can get this dilapidated trailer in a retirement home if you really want it. But I like explicitly put out no manufactured homes. This is a lot in a marina. You can buy this. You can for $12,000. You can buy this deck in a marina. Yeah, Zillow's shit. They need to do something about all the fucking fake listings that are on this. Like, I specifically did not say I wanted manufactured homes. And they're still showing me manufactured homes and empty lots and decks on a marina. $35,000 for a deck on a marina. Okay. More manufactured homes. If you want a trailer, you might be able to find one in Florida in a swamp somewhere, but you will not find a house. All right. Next, I don't want to waste people's much time. Okay, here's my main rant for the day, okay? So get this. A bunch of evil feminazi hags rose TF up in Australia, and they successfully got a bunch of video games on Steam. I think I read them on last stream about daughter rape BDSM taken down. I finally sneezed. Okay, and so people rose TF up and they looked at this situation and they said, these Australian hags are able to take down our innocent artistic expressions, such as Daddy Dom BDSM Rape 7. This is an affront. And they managed to accomplish this by complaining to MasterCard. I got it. We'll yell at them on the internet. And so they rose TF up and they yelled at Collective Shout. They collectively shouted at Collective Shout. And they got all the evil feminists to private their Twitter accounts. Mission accomplished. Feminism defeated. Gamergate 2 a rousing success. And of course, everyone rushes to forget the actual issue. That the payment processors are out there, and a group of women filing complaints from Australia can dictate what American consumers can buy from American storefronts in the United States without any court order. That's not the real issue. The issue is women. But I'm kind of being facetious because after I saw the rumblings, I'm gonna take credit for this. Actually, it's my doing. After I saw the rumblings and where this was going, I hastily went out to the Kiwi Farms, and I wrote a very concise, extremely concise explanation about how payment processors are the problem, and more specifically, there is an act called the Fair Access to Banking Act that is in the works in the United States Congress. Early draft, but basically it tries to say that banks have no right to turn away customers, and if they do, they're liable for fines. And to very shortly sum up what's wrong with this bill, um, it creates a cause of action mostly against banks, but payment networks and payment processors and the cards are the real problem. And I say that, but it's actually very hard to determine who makes what decisions because you're not entitled to any transparency whatsoever in regards to why you are turned away from a certain financial service. So the actual relief granted by the statute is you can complain to the Office of the Controller of Currency that you were unfairly debanked by this financial service. And to be clear, when I say debanked, I'm referring to a broad spectrum of censorship via financial services, not necessarily financial institutions like banks and credit unions. You can be debanked in air quotes by a card network that you are not actually willfully banking with. So what it does, you can complain to the OCC, and then they can fine the financial service 10% of the damages done, up to a maximum of $10,000. So if they cause you $100,000 of damage that you can prove, the OCC may, at its discretion, impose a fine of up to $10,000 that it can't enforce. Because last year, the Supreme Court ruled that administrative law judges, which is how institutions like the OCC, the EPA, so on and so forth, were able to enforce their regulations. The administrative law judges actually violate the Constitution because the Constitution affords everybody a jury trial. And since the AJLs, the administrative ALJs, the administrative law judges, are not a jury, they're therefore unconstitutional. So the OCC, at its discretion, may impose a fine up to $10,000, which it cannot enforce. Very good. Woo! Problem solved. MasterCard, oy vey, the goyim are rising up. Soon we'll have to bank everyone, even the racist. No, not going to solve anything, okay? So I outlined that this is what has to change in this law. And don't take the bait. Don't get angry at the retards that are trying to censor through the banking apparatus, because if the retards weren't the feminazis, they would be the ADL, they would be the Muslim Brotherhood, they would be whatever, whatever, Jack Thompson after Violent Video Games, it would be whoever the fuck. You want to be angry at feminists, go for it, but for the sake of this, there is a very big problem. And I reiterate again and again, the number one issue that conservatives face in the United States is that we are significantly outfunded by the left. And why are the left more able to get funding? Because they can operate their businesses without fear. They can put advertisements on their websites. They can collect payments from anybody they want. I'm telling you that if I was able to accept payments for the Kiwi Farms from when it was funded to now, it would be a bigger site, it would be a better site, and I would be more well off. Because it's not just like the amount of money I've lost and lost opportunity. It's what I could have reinvested. It's people I could have hired, infrastructure I could have bought, software I could have written with a team of people that I paid for. Someone asked me in chat, it's like, would you rather have as a golden ticket your own tier 1 ISP or access to credit card payments? And it's like, if I suddenly was the 100% owner of Cogent or some other massive ISP, I would be bankrupt overnight because they would just cut me off and I would never make any money. Like, that's the issue. The issue is the inability to pay people, to send and receive money between two willing legal participants in the economy, because MasterCard says you can't. And it's so impossible to even explain like that because people don't even believe it's true. There's no way that MasterCard can just cut you off. Here's a fun game, by the way. If you're not a business person and you happen to be in a conversation with somebody who works for themselves or is the owner of a business, small, medium, large, doesn't matter. You could be talking to Joe. I had a conversation with a guy that ran a gun store because I was curious about something, and I talked to him, and they all say the exact same thing. They all loathe, despise doing business with MasterCard and Visa card. Because they are oppressive. The regulations are fucking insane. Their compliance is arbitrary. And then to top it all off, they take up to 5% or more of your money. So if you're a business that works on a 15% margin, 2.9% of that margin automatically for every transaction is lost to a service that hates you, causes you time-consuming compliance regulation, which is just a racket, by the way. Their DSS compliance shit is just a way to make their associates money because you have to pay them to do antivirus port scans of your service or whatever the fuck, or inspections. It's a fucking racket. It is the largest, most sophisticated, most profitable racket ever imposed on any people in any society throughout human history. And it is all automatic. It is all behind closed doors. You don't even get to know who's making these decisions. It's not like in the Roman Empire where they had to send a tax collector to go collect taxes. And if the taxes were too high, they could literally kill the tax collector. And then the Roman Empire might freak out and kill them all. But at least you had the option to hang your tax collector. You have no recourse. You can't sue. You can't retaliate. You can't tell them to go fuck themselves. They can just disappear your money at any second, at any time. And if there is some triggering mechanism like a feminist organization causing certain censorship actions to take place, that was irrelevant to the fact that you have a collection of companies that are not competitive that are being sued by the Department of Justice. I even point that out down here. Literally, here's an excerpt from the DOJ suing Visa. It's an antitrust lawsuit specifically over debit cards that I read, where basically if you pull out your debit card that belongs to your bank, there is a 100% chance it's either MasterCard or Visa, and there's like a 90% chance that it's going to be a Visa card, because Visa card is actually so dominant in the debit card market that they have a de facto monopoly. But this is what the DOJ says. Moreover, Visa has imposed new unfavorable pricing structures without losing debit volume. For example, in 2012, Visa implemented its new monthly 5 nights at Freddy's across FANF. I don't know what that is. FANF across all merchants and acquirers. In 2023, Visa introduced the Digital Commerce Service Fee. The fee bundled previously optional value-added services fees charged to card-not-present transactions. So basically every transaction in the entire country at this point, any internet transaction, any telephone transaction. Visa anticipates a 5-time the net revenue from the new mandatory fee than previously optional fees. Despite imposing a new fee for merchants to their acquirers, Visa knew it would not lose transactions. And, quote, Visa sets fees not based on its cost or competition, but rather relative to the value they provide, i.e. Visa's perception of its own value. So even the Department of Justice acknowledges that these card networks add no value to any service whatsoever. And there is no competition, and they impose whatever the fuck they want on you, and there's nothing you can do about it, because your options are to take less of your own money or to take no money whatsoever. And it's like, there is no reason why we have to live like this. So I honestly don't know what has to change, because what I would suggest is something like a Federal Reserve product like the Fed Now. But if you say that, people freak out and go, but then the government gets access to all your transactional history. Well, guess what, bitch? They already fucking do. You think MasterCard and Visa card is hiding your transaction history from the government? No, because anytime you buy anything more than $600, they mandatorily have to report that to the fucking IRS already. They have access to everything that you do, and they hand it away for free, and they have a mandatory retention period of something like 8 years for every transaction. They already watch that shit. But you say the government should do it. No, we don't want the government to have access to this. Even Old Glory Bank CEO It says we're not going to implement FedNow because we don't want the government to have access to it. Like, okay, then what's the alternative? You know what Old Glory Bank is doing? Old Glory Pay. They want to make their own fucking Cash App. Oh, brilliant. Another Cash App. Once we have Cash App and Venmo and Walmart's One Pay and Old Glory Pay, once we have all that shit sorted out, there will be no censorship whatsoever and freedom will reign again. It's not fucking happening. The ACH system already worked, but it's basically like a check, so there's a higher risk of fraud. The only reason why, it's not considered a high risk thing is because certain people don't know how to use ACH. So there's not really any risk. I don't know. Just a pain in the ass. And then I get people saying, well, Bitcoin fixes this. Well, Bitcoin is less anonymous than it's actually less anonymous than a Federal Reserve System. And after 13 years of me advertising cryptocurrency to get people to support the forum, guess how many do? Basically none of them. There's like a handful of people. And that's with my community, tech savvy people who want to help. They look at crypto and go, that's a scam. I don't want to get into that. That's for drug dealers and pedophiles. So crypto isn't actually going to solve this. Supposedly the cope is now that Trump is going to add stable coins, and stable coins are going to be our bank-to-bank money transfer system that is like the Fed now, but not controlled by the government. Maybe the stable coins will fix it. Sorry, it pisses me off a lot. The commotion is starting, by the way. Michael Knowles was debanked by Stripe, and then they got Stripe to reply to them, and they said something like, that's just his expose about how he was kicked off of Stripe. But then Stripe comes and says, sorry, we got a binding order, a legally binding order was their first reply to him after he posted all this stuff, right? And then he gets into contact with them. And Stripe says, sorry, there was a confusion. There was a mistake. It's like, so it's a legally binding order that's a mistake? You know what it is, because they didn't say a legally binding court order, but they were heavily implying it was a court order, because what else would be legally binding? What they got was an order from MasterCard, Visa card, and then when they panicked because this guy was getting millions of views on his issue, they contacted MasterCard and was like, okay, I guess let him through it. Whatever. We don't want to deal with this. We don't want to deal with the PR scrutiny. So then he made a message saying, oh, thanks, Stripe. Glad it worked out. He's just like, yeah, thanks. Fuck you guys. Got mine. Good job, Michael Knowles. Your torchlight's the way. He got his, everybody. Everybody, Michael Knowles got his. He's back on Stripe. He gets paid for his slop tweets on X. Good job, Michael Knowles. You solved it, buddy. Okay, wonderful. They made a mistake. It was a simple misunderstanding, chat. It happens every so often. A multi-trillion-dollar organization. To be clear, Stripe is worth like $40 billion in 2024. They think they processed, what is the exact number? Hold up. Let me get this right, because it's a very impressive number, and I want to make sure I get it right. Google.com. Stripe 2024 process volume. It is $1.4 trillion in 2024, which is 1.3% of the entire world's GDP. I love that number. Stripe alone, one payment processor processed $1.4 trillion in 1 year, representing 1.3% of the entire world's GDP. For every dollar spent anywhere in the entire fucking world, 1.3 cents of that went through the networks of the Collison brothers, who are Irish and they own Stripe. So anytime Stripe makes Stripe, the multi-billion-dollar organization processing the entire percentage point of the entire world's GDP, sometimes they just make mistakes. And significant people are just completely and totally blacklisted from their only source of income just by accident. It just so happens, everybody makes mistakes. And when it happens, by the way, when these little oopsie doodles happen to American people supporting American consumers, it is being done by an Irish group. 2 Irishmen are dictating what American consumers can send their money to in the United States. And I just don't understand how not everybody should hate them. There should literally be a violent mob outside the headquarters of these corporations calling for people's heads. Because how do you have a vice grip around your cock and balls that fucking heavy, that fucking painful, for that fucking long, and you're just like, I guess I'll just put an ice pack on it and deal with it. I'll just live like this for the rest of my fucking life. That's everybody in America. Everybody in the whole world. They just, yeah, just give me an ice pack, bro. I need some Bengay for the vice grip on my fucking cock and balls. Just everyone in the whole world, yo, just not much we can do about it, such is life. Oh my god. Can't stand it. And then now it's really getting serious. Not only are the daddy dom BDSM fetishists losing their harem of school children on Steam, Itch.io is losing their pornography games, and that's where all the heckin' wholesome, inclusive sex workers went to post their games. So now all the trannies are rising TF up because their porn is getting affected too. Your goon lights the way, trannies. Let's join up. I posted actually I didn't post this because it might have gotten me banned from Zitter, but I posted this. Here we go. Some edit of this basically. Oh, I have to verify that I'm human to post to go to this wiki. Okay, I see. Oh, they have a nice whole wiki page for it on the Soyjack wiki. There we go. There we go. We're going to do it. We have to set aside our differences. We have to set aside our differences. Even the ACLU, by the way, Anna Valens, who was pro deplatforming Kiasha, posted an article on the Fediverse linking to the ACLU because the ACLU was petitioning MasterCard to stop debanking prostitutes because sex work is work. And now the literal fucking whores in the gutters are being the oldest profession, quote unquote, in the whole world. The actual gutter whores of the United States are unable to shake down their johns for a few dollars because they're being debanked by MasterCard. That's how deep the rot, the sepsis infection is in this economy, where even the bottom is being hit. Reminds me of something, by the way. I remember in the Boomer's favorite book, 1984, there was a very stark passage that I've always remembered where when I think his name was Winston, when he's describing the proletariat, which is like the underclass in the society, he says that the underclass was even allowed alcohol and even religion if it kept them pacified and quiet. And they could get away with a lot more than the ruling class could because it kept them busy and kept them out of trouble. And it's like, this is it. The ruling class is coming down on the proles and telling them no more gooning, no more daddy dom BDSM sevens, no more prostitutes. And finally the proles are like, what the fuck? I was happy in my goy cattle shed awaiting slaughter, and now you've taken away my porn and my disgusting fetish material and my prostitutes. This is a fucking issue. There we go. Oh, this is Maddie news. This is a little update. Okay, this guy called Jotch, he posted a bounty for Life is Strange. If you're newer to the podcast, when the podcast was brand new, there was a golden era of content on a platform called stream.me. And it was a golden era because the various streamers on the platform had a weekly bounty where the first place got $1,500 and every subsequent tier got half of that. So it was like $750, $375, and so on and so forth, right? Which caused insane competition for people to try and get that money, and me included. So I would stream a lot trying to get that extra money because it helped a lot. At the time when I lived in Ukraine at this point in time, by the way, in 2019, I had no real income. I couldn't make any money from the Kiwi Farms. My streams were very, very small, and I couldn't really monetize those either. I hadn't figured out merchandise runs yet. New Project 2 hadn't happened. So this stream.me income of like $350 to $750 a week was really, really nice to have. So I streamed a lot, and I streamed a lot of video games too. And one of the games that I played was Life is Strange. And there's only available, or has been, because stream.me was completely obliterated from the face of the fucking planet at complete random. And a lot of people wanted an archive of this, and I didn't keep one because I didn't really have the space for it. So this has been gone for years, and some guy randomly went through a bunch of hard drives that he had found in his closet and found the archives of the Life is Strange stream. So here's a nice little preview in case you want to find this. I'll post it on the madhatter.com site, 90.live. But this is an example of this quality stream. Okay, this is the stuttering, by the way, is from my computer was too poor to stream Life is Strange, so this is just how it was.
Dude, I put a real dent
this is
in
really
that
stupid.
bumper.
This is the dumbest part of the game so
cool
far.
Bumper.
She's trying to ricochet bullets to hit.
I shot myself! I shot myself! Back up! Gun! Come on, Chloe. Shit! I need to rewind and do something fast.
My favorite part of this, by the way, is the way that she instinctively, after Chloe is recklessly, negligently discharging gunshots at metal objects at like 5 yards, she shoots herself, and then her reaction is "stupid gun," like the fucker went off all by itself, like it was a Zigzawa chat, which is our next topic of discussion. The Zigzawa. It has had another oopsie doodles, and the Ziggers, the Sig sisters, they are reeling, coping, and sneezing. The Department of the Air Force, Headquarters Air Force Global Strike Command says memorandum for all Air Force Global Strike Command personnel. Immediate pause of M18 modular handgun system operations. So the contract that was awarded to SIG for their M18 has been discarded, and all the guns are to be put into a mass gun grave, effectively, because they have a slight misfunction. A general of the Air Force, I think it's called a general, desk sergeant, okay, a sergeant. He took off his holster, you know. Guys, I lived near an Air Force base, and I happen to know that guys in the Air Force are often a little bit plump. So I imagine sitting there with that holster on you all day while you're in your chair doing chair force stuff activities is a little bit uncomfortable. So he took off his holster and he put it on his desk. And the unthinkable happened. The stupid gun went off, literally unprovoked, trigger safely secured in the holster, and unfortunately struck this man in the chest, killing him instantly. So the Air Force, now this corroborates several other stories, anecdotes of security personnel across the U.S. caught on camera being shot in the leg by a gun going off for no reason whatsoever. And I think there was a police officer in Minnesota that was killed or shot the same way. So they have documented evidence of the stupid gun going off. And so the Air Force is pausing their usage of the stupid gun, pending further investigation. SIG has put out a response saying, "Our hearts are with the service members and families impacted by the recent reported event at F.E. Warren Air Force Base. We proactively offered assistance to the military as they investigate the incident and remain willing to help in furtherance of their ongoing inquiry. We have absolute confidence in the military's ability to conduct a thorough investigation and are working with the Air Force and Army to answer any of their questions." So it has been a little bit of a speculation on if SIG is manufacturing poor guns or if there is just a string of coincidental events. However, they have made a determination. This is how it was explained to me. So I'm just repeating what I heard. I'm not a gun expert, but I don't want this ad. This is 2024. Sig Sauer and Nibba Defense announced joint venture in India. So their main headquarters is in New Hampshire. And when interviewed about their guns. They say all of our guns are made right here in the United States, in New Hampshire. However, they want a contract in India to manufacture SIGs for the Indian Defense Force, the IDF, if you will. However, the caveat was that the guns must be manufactured in India, which is a very common requirement for the defense industry, right? Why invest into another country's defense industry when you can invest into your own? So they did indeed set up a factory in India. However, they told everybody that 100% of the Indian manufactured weapons would stay in India for the Indian forces, and there would be no commingling of parts. However, Indian-made guns and parts have been found in Eastern Europe and the United States. And my understanding is that there is a the striker in the gun can be swapped with the striker in the 10 millimeter. And they have provably demonstrated that if you take the SIG's 10 millimeter striker or vice versa and put it in the 9 millimeter, there is a very, very small chance that the striker can impact and fire a round in the chamber without the trigger being pulled. So the theory is that the Indians are not marking these. They're not putting 9 millimeter and 10 millimeter on the different strikers. They're accidentally using them in the same bin and manufacturing guns with this defect that can then misfire because they're Indian. So, which is a pretty fucking tragic and also very funny. Now, remember, chat. I want that sound. Make the sound, goddammit. There we go. Remember to buy American, chat. See, this gun I also haven't fired yet. Actually, I say buy American. I'm pretty sure, chat, that this one is from the Österreich. But it is made in the U.S. I'm pretty sure. It's a G43X. In case you want, it fits my hand perfectly. It has small baby hands, so I need a smaller gun to fit my small baby hands. But I haven't fired it yet, so I can play around with it. I have fired my AR. I finally fired it. That's why I was at a gun store. I was at a range. And I was zeroing my optics, chat. I can't wait. Once I lose weight, I can start buying. I'm already saving up. One day I can buy my tactical gear. Okay. And I can start, because there's no point buying tactical gear when you're fat. There's nothing sadder than a fat person wearing cool military surplus. It's like, why even fucking bother? But I'm getting there. As an update, by the way, once I have two goals. I have one that's like my normal goal, and then I have like my full goal, and then I have like a partial goal. When I hit my partial goal, which I'm getting very, very close to, probably in the next 3 months, I will announce phase 2, chat. I'll announce phase 2. Am I losing weight? Yeah, I've been losing weight since February. I've been losing 2 pounds a week, every week since February. I cannot lose weight any fucking faster unless I take a machete and just start cleaving it off. Which is why I say in the next 3 months, I'll hit my target, my first target, and then I will explain phase 2 of my plan. Make sure to subscribe at madhatter.locals.com if you hate fat people. It's in case one of the hardest things that I had to get over, by the way, as someone wanting to endeavor into a weight loss regime. And this, I'm not even being facetious, this is true, is that so many people have tried to encourage me to lose weight that it built up an oppositional defiance disorder thing where it's just like, I don't want these people to think they had anything to fucking do with the amount of absolute hell I am putting myself through to lose 2 pounds a week every week. It's like, you know what I mean? It's just like, I don't want any fucking random cuckold on the internet to think that they had anything to do with my personal motivation or triumphs, chat. It's so frustrating. It's just like, and then it's like, if I lose all the weight, which I will eventually, you just know that certain people on the internet are going to take credit for it. And it's just like the most disgusting thing I can think of, where it's just like, I'm having to work so hard and count every single thing that I put into my body. And then some disgusting faggot is going to say, yeah, I contributed to that. Or it's like, no, actually, you delayed it by several years because I didn't want anything to do with you. And I didn't want you to think that you had anything to do with this. But the fact is, chat, if I want total payment processor death, if I want to organize my violent mobs, I have to look good. And this is a sad fact. I guess it's a sad fact. It's a true fact, at least, where fat people, nobody cares what they have to say. I've said this before. I'll repeat myself. Nobody cares what a fat person has to say because there's an intrinsic primordial evolutionary bias against fat people, where it's like it's like a kind of racism, but it's baked into everyone. You just trust fat people less. You give less of a fuck about what they have. It's just like a thought where it's just like, how, let's say like this, okay? You have a choice between an Indian, a Jew, and a fat white guy for your colorectal surgeon. You have ass cancer, and you need somebody to go in there with a knife and cut out that polyp, right? Who are you going to choose? Well, you're not going to choose Vanish Rahizmahad because he's a poo in the loo Indian. And then it's okay. It's between the Jew and the really fat guy to go in there with a knife and unfuck your ass, right? Well, that's a tough one because it's like that fat guy, sure, he's whitey, but he's fat. And what does that mean? It means he does not take care of himself. So how can you expect somebody who doesn't take care of himself to take care of your ass when your ass is literally in his hands? How do you go in there? How do you trust the fat guy to go in there? So you might end up choosing the Jew, even if you're an extreme anti-Semite, because you're not going to trust the fat guy. He's probably got like butter on his fingers. He might slip and that scalpel might just cut you in half. That would be terrible. So it's like built into people automatically, where they're just like, yeah, I'm not going to trust the fat guy. Let's say that you had to pick a lawyer. Do you want, like, you look at a billboard, you're going down the street, you're just in an accident, you got hit in your car by a Indian CDL, and you have to sue a transportation line, and you see two giant billboards next to each other, and the one's says call Jonathan Plum, and it's a big fat guy, and the next one is call Moses Eisenberg. Well, who the fuck are you? And he's like a skinny, scraggly looking Jew. Who are you going to pick? You're not going to pick the fat guy for your case to sue. You're going to pick the Jewish guy. So, yeah, Sean felt it. I mean, it's true to an extent, though. If you look at all the people who are e-daddies, by the way, you look at Medicare. Medicare doesn't take care of himself. He's got fucking cancer, AIDS, or whatever. He still smokes a pack a day. But he's still trustworthy because he's not fat. Sean will never be like an e-daddy to people. Sean is around and does a good job as a law person, but who is at 200,000 subscribers right now? Legal mindset. Why? He's not fat. I'm just telling you. It's like an intrinsic bias, and the least bigoted person on the planet will look at his options and always choose the skinny option between them. So it's just like, I don't care. Like, I'll never be, let me put it this way. I'll never be sexy, chat. I'm 32 and I'm losing probably close to 100 pounds once I sort everything out. It's hard to say. So I'll have loose skin and I won't look as bad, hopefully, as Amy Slayton, who's lost like 500 pounds and now has like this horrible gooseneck to her. I'll never be sexy. So it's not a sex appeal thing. It's not a love quest thing. Because it doesn't matter. What's the difference between somebody who's like 50 pounds overweight and somebody who has like 100 pounds of excess skin? Like nothing. Like in terms of sex appeal, there's nothing. So everything, therefore, is fat chefs. Who do you want cooking your food? Do you want like a fat black guy, or do you want Gordon Ramsay? Gordon Ramsay is not fat. Even with the chef, they always say don't trust the skinny chef. People trust the skinny chef. They don't. You look at a fat guy cooking food and he gives you a recipe. And you look at Gordon Ramsay cooking food and he gives you a recipe, that fat guy, you think, I eat his food, I'm going to be fat. You'll never choose a fat guy's food over a skinny guy's food, because you see a fit guy cooking barbecue and a fat guy cooking barbecue. They could be cooking the same exact goddamn thing, but you think subconsciously in your brain, without even realizing it, if I eat that fat guy's food, I'm going to be fat like him. So you eat the skinny guy's food, even if the skinny guy's food is less healthy. That is how human psychology works. Anyways, my point is, I'll never be sexy. My point, my concern is purely political. There will come a day where I have to do a discussion, and if I am fat, even if I make the exact same points that I make if I'm skinny, fewer people will give a shit. They'll just think, oh, this fat fuck talking about being debanked. Probably upset he can't buy as much fried chicken and macaroni and cheese and Lay's potato chips and regular soda. That's why he's upset. He's not making enough money to feed his fat ass the 8 million calories he needs to stay at 250. That's what people think. But then I'm like sexy, right? And I think, this sexy guy is making some salient points about freedom. That's it. That's how it works. It's not that complicated. People are monkeys. They got monkey brains. They got simple monkey brains, and they perceive things in a very monkey way. And they can ook at you and be like, I'm actually like above that. I don't discriminate against anyone, bro. I'm like an elevated life form, and I understand that we're all different. Nope. That guy's the most bigoted. You take that fucking anti-fascist liberal and you give him ass cancer and you put him towards the doctor test. He ain't putting his hands in Ranish. He's not putting his hands on Mr. Butterfingers. Dr. Butterfingers, sorry. He's going to the Jew, the skinny Jew, and he's getting his ass handled by that Jew. That's how it works. It's not whining. I'm telling you the facts of the case, okay? The facts of the situation. And if you disagree, you're wrong. You're just wrong. Anyways, sucks to be Sig. Alexa, can you make some AI slop about Indians making guns shittily? Play it. I have to. Oh, wait, no. Here, wait, hold up. I can't. Wait, there we go. Okay, now we got it. Okay, Alexa, do it. Where's my music at? It's not playing, chat. I have it set up correctly. I can't believe this. Do I have to log in to hear this music? I made this song just for you guys. I don't understand. I'm really pissed. Hold up. Let me fix it. I want to play for you my AI slop chat. Too fat to play music. It's true. You know, your brain is fat. So theoretically, I should be extremely smart. And then if I try to open it in that, I can't even open it at all. What the fuck is happening? Is someone trying to destroy my internet connection so I cannot play the song? Wait, hold up. Does that mean that nothing is going to play audio from this browser? Why does that work? Why does Bossman Jack is able to defy the laws of computing and is capable of playing music even if that is crazy. I guess Suno's just fucking broken then, chat. Okay, let's try. Okay, it's not gonna work. What a shame. What a shame. I really enjoy making AI slop songs. Oh, one other thing from India, by the way. I saw this tweet myself. This Indian guy was seething. He says, Indian right-wing community at Indian right-wing. I never pray for someone's downfall, but I wish that this guy and his family never find happiness. May his child get bullied in school. 5 million views, almost 10,000 likes. And it's just PewDiePie with his kid, his son, Bjorn, and Matsya. Because if you don't know, many years ago, when PewDiePie was still the #1 most subscribed channel on YouTube, the up-and-coming channel trying to dethrone him in number of subscribers was a channel called T-Series, which was not one person, but a collection of music channels, kind of like Vivo, that had Indian artists. So all the Indians on the internet subscribed to T-Series on YouTube to get the latest hot and coming Indian music. Like the song that I would have played if Suno didn't fuck me in the fucking ass like it did. So all the Indians subscribed, and eventually he lost. But right before he lost, he had a friendly little competition where he was trying to stay #1, which of course ultimately led to the shooting of Christchurch. But during the time he made a little banter video called Bitch Lasagna. And it was at the time where there was one Indian post on the internet that anyone had ever seen where it was an Indian guy harassing somebody on Facebook going, show Bob's in vagin, you bitch lasagna. And like, that's what he was saying. That's the only negative Indian meme anyone had seen at the time. So PewDiePie made a funny little banter video. And I think like 8 years later, how long was Christchurch? Was like 2016, right? It's been like 8 fucking years. This Indian guy watches PewDiePie videos and sees him having a happy, healthy little family touring Sweden and Italian and Japan. And he's like, I hope that this bitch lasagna never smiles another day in his entire life. Fuck this white devil. He's just seething forever and ever. And so are 10,000 other Indians. This is how much they hate you, by the way. This is how much the fucking Jeets despise you. They see this little Christmas card picture of PewDiePie with Bjorn and the dogs, and he's just like literally his knuckles, even though they are shit-crusted brown hands, they are so clenched in anger. For that one moment, they turn white. The Aryan anger shines through, and for a moment, his shitty brown hands are pure fucking white, just because they're so constricted in rage, and just seeing his happy family. Oh, and one other thing. So, one of the things that I noticed, by the way, that when I came back to the U.S., and I never talked about this on stream because I was embarrassed by it when it happened. I bought a gas can, and I just kept a gas can in case something happened. I needed gas. So eventually, I decided that I had it for a couple months. I was like, well, you're supposed to like replace these every so often, right? So I guess I'll just empty this out and refill it. So I tried to fill up my car, and I start filling it up, and I realized there's no gas coming out. There's no gas coming out of this canister. And I kept fucking with it, and it was like a little button you have to press to like release it. You have to like hold the button to keep it open. And I was trying to like tip it upside down, and then the funnel I was using snapped in half, and like it was just dousing my hands in gasoline, and there was gas like pouring all over the side of my car. And I'm just like, am I like a retard? Am I like actually so fucking retarded I can't figure out how to use a gas can? So I managed to get like half of it in before giving up, and I still haven't done anything with it. And then I discovered that the EPA mandated that all gas canisters must be airtight, and they don't have a vent anymore. So the reason why it doesn't work is that it's mandated to be as shitty as humanly fucking possible. And after watching other videos, I realized that this is a very common occurrence. And they're just shitty now. Yeah, you got to get a vintage jerry can. If you guys are angry at me, just go out to the gas station and get a brand new EPA certified gas can. Do it today. If you think that I'm just retarded, go get a fucking gas can and fill it up, and then try to use this piece of shit to fill up your fucking tank. I dare you, motherfucker. They are garbage. So one of my things on my bug out to buy list, when you subscribe to my locals at madhatter.locals.com, you are helping finance my long-term bug out savings ideas, such as getting a vintage jerry can so that I can have a real aluminum. I have to demongrelize myself. A real jerry can. They're designed to pour you. Yeah, apparently you have to like stab a fucking hole in the ass of it to get it to pour it all. So yeah, the EPA, by the way, Lee Zeldin, which sounds like a fake name, is telling the EPA that he wants gas cans to fucking work again, which I think is a progress. I think that's the step in making America great again, if you're asking me. Wavians, I think that's what I was getting. No, actually, yeah. Maybe it might be a Wavian. I looked this up. It was like a made American. Wait. I'll show you the. Yeah, it was the fuel, the Wavians. That's what I was looking at. They're like $100 each, and they're made of aluminium. but I think they're made in the U.S. I want to do more research and to figure out where I can get an American one because I'm like that. That's how I spend my time. A lot of people have hobbies. I don't get to play games anymore. So instead, I spend my time looking up where things are manufactured. My favorite, by the way, is I was looking up something, and it was like American company, extra heavy duty thing, really expensive and heavy. Look at how impressive our marketing is. And then their logo at the bottom. It's plastered on a big American flag, like in a circle sticker with the logo on it. And I'm thinking, you know what this big American flag sticker with like this extra heavy duty logo on it doesn't say? It doesn't say made in America. And I find that very suspicious that you're going to put the big ass American flag and like all these white people with like guns and shit for this thing. And then you're not going to explicitly use the words made in America. Could it be product? Could it be manufacturer that you are not made in America, but you feel that if you put up enough American flags on your fucking website, I'll instinctively just believe that it is made in America? Are you lying to me through omission, website? Very curious indeed, website. Very curious, marketer. But I see through your tricks. Advertiser, schemer. I know your type. I know how you lie. Very. See, this is what. In case you're wondering what I'm like offline, imagine me hunched over my table. Okay, angrily. I got like a big monitor set up. I got one with my calorie sheets, and I'm hungry, so I'm very angry, and I'm angrily typing in brand name where made into Bing because I don't use Google anymore. That's my life. That's how I spend my free time. All right. Next, hamster, you're dismissed. I don't want you to see what's coming up. It's beneath you. Improved blink.gif. It's the VTuber news segment, chat. Okay. I enjoy the drama of the sphere because if one of them kills themselves, I won't know why unless I keep up to date with the drama. You are looking at an anime called Iron Mouse. Okay. You have to say, "Oh no, my Oshi" in chat if this is your Oshi, as per the rules. Her character. Okay, this is interesting. I talked about how the VTubers don't own their characters. She belonged to a group called VShojo, which was one of the only ones that let you keep your characters. So get this. Her story is that because they all have a story like this. Like I get to do the pretend anime titty thing and you got to send me money, but you get to feel good about it. And they all have a story like this. Every single one of these fucking people doing this bullshit and shucking and jiving for money. None of them say, well, yes, I was a successful business accountant, and then I decided one day, you know what, I like to pursue a creative career, and I just find it so enjoyable to talk to all of you that I pursued this as a hobby first, and then I realized, this is a real opportunity for me, so now I do it full time, and I thank you so much. It's always like, I'm a little retard goblin, and right now my pantsu have shit and period blood in them, and I don't function, and I live at home with mommy and daddy, and I have no idea to take care of myself. Agoo. They all have the exact same thing. And hers was, so my body wants to kill itself. I have an autoimmune disease, and I'm in constant agonizing pain because my body is trying to end my own life autonomously. So she does fundraisers for like an autoimmune like research foundation or whatever, and she did it through VShojo, which is with her management company, and she raised $500,000. And a year later, after they stopped paying her in September last year, so that she's just been not making any money since September. And then she realized, wait a second, I'm not making any money. What about that foundation I raised $500,000 for? So she contacted them and said, no, we haven't been paid either. So VShojo is run by one Mexican and two Jews. One of the other guys, the chief operating officer, is a Sanders, and the CEO is a guy with the last name like Ignacio or some shit. So she went to this thing, which is different because it's supposed to be like a super pro creator. You get to keep your character type thing. It's like a voluntary association. We just help you do better. We do merchandise and stuff. We do business stuff for you, but you get to keep your assets. So she subscribed to this, and then they missed management, and they even put out a little thing saying, oh, wait, no, hold up. Let me read this in the right order. So the other people, she was the biggest, but the other ones have all left. So none of the people that were with VShojo are with them anymore. And then VShojo US posted this saying, VShojo has failed. I've mismanaged the company into the situation you're all witnessing. Today, I'm sharing the difficult news that VShojo is shutting down. I'm taking full responsibility for the decisions that led us to this point. I've been doing everything I can to fundraise and right the ship these past few months, but despite my efforts, we are in a worse position, and those I care about are now paying the price. Over the past few years, we raised around $11 million to pursue a bold, talent-first approach in VTubing, prioritizing creators and community over short-term profits to achieve long-term stability. So this guy, Ignacio or Sanders, or sorry, Justin Gunrun. So that's Justin Ignacio, the CEO. This guy made $11 million of cartoon anime women who are so dysfunctional they can't leave their house talking into a microphone. He somehow raised $11 million off of that and could not keep this business solvent. It is a business that requires basically no overhead. You can do this from home. You're just organizing merchandise and a website and occasionally a collaboration between talents to make more money. That's it. That's your business. And somehow he took that $11 million and poof, it's all gone. Somehow that $500,000 for charity, oy vey, just disappeared off the book somehow. Uh-oh. Okay. Let's see. Debut investments, infrastructure, concerts, events, and staffing. So did they do in-person concerts? Where they like put the... Okay, if you don't know, VTubers do concerts where they literally put giant projections of cartoon characters on the stage, and people show up in real life to like wave the glow sticks and do the crying face in real life. This is a real thing that they do. Did VShojo actually do a concert? Let me look this up. Hold up. VShojo concert. Hold up. No, not Dodgers. That was just an advertisement. No, they didn't. They didn't do a real concert. They did a 3D concert. Hold up. So they didn't even do like the real in life thing. They just they did like an on stage 3D concert. That's not, you don't need infrastructure for this. You're not renting out a stadium. You're not selling tickets. Can you buy a computer that can handle rendering Second Life? Congratulations. You can run a VShojo 3D. I could run this on my fucking computer. Okay. You don't need $11 million for this. You don't need it. What's funny is that they brought their own characters and shit too. So it's like, you're not even paying for like the sea monkeys to develop the artists or anything. They bring them. That's the whole point. So it's like, how do you do this? Events and staffing. Why do you need staff? Who's doing what? By the way, I think somebody did like an expose from the company. Their staff included an attorney who had a lapsed law license, but their legal contact for any legal concerns was this guy. So they had a lawyer that was not licensed to practice law. That's the quality of the staffing that you can afford with $11 million if you're ran by a Mexican and 2 Jews, apparently. Despite all our efforts, the business failed to generate the revenue. Obviously fucking not. It makes $11 million fucking dollars. How is that not enough money? Bro. This shit is a bank to be fucking robbed. This shit is a bank to be fucking robbed. Do you have basic business acumen? Can you talk to mentally retarded girls and keep them from spurging out? You could run your own VTuber agency. Are you looking for a side gig where you can make $11 million doing 3D concerts? You could run your own Get on it. I can't do it. If I had to listen to like a Pippa Pipkins talking to me about her vomit drawer, I'm just like, bro, 11 million. Can we up that number a bit? I don't think I can do this. Maybe I can hire somebody. We'll have an on-staff psychologist for the anime women to talk about their vomit drawers too. Additionally, I acknowledge that some of the money spent by the company was raised in connection with talent activity, which I later learned was intended for a charitable initiative. This is a lie, by the way. Someone pointed out that he says that whoops, all gone. That $500,000, we just accidentally, whoopsie, we just spent it. I didn't know that the Iron Mouse raised this money for a charitable purpose. I just thought it was mine. I just thought it was my $500,000. Like, ooh, for me. Ooh, a piece of candy. $500,000. He actually retweeted the thing. They found this guy in particular had acknowledged the foundation, the charity event and the money. So when he says, I didn't, piece of candy, that's actually bullshit, okay? Like demonstrably false, to the point where he might get sued. He might have to retreat to Mexico. How to cover our costs. Dude, this guy has to post his fucking balance sheet. Can I tweet that? Hold up. No, I don't want to tweet that. I don't give a fuck. I don't give enough of a fuck to like go to my host machine and tweet. I want to see your balance sheet. What is your candle budget? How many candles are we talking about here? This has to be a lot of fucking candles where you can't figure this shit out. Cool. All right, speaking of 3D concerts, chat, enough with the anime. We're going to be talking about gay wrestling, okay? So this guy, Mound Dweller, he physically went to the church to see Kid Bandit versus James Stefani Sterling wrastle in real time. So this event that you're looking at is so gay that it literally killed Hulk Hogan. Let's just watch all these clips. This is good. There he is, my boy. God, that announcer, he looks like that fat JD Vance meme. You know what I mean? That's a fucking big boy right there. So if you're only listening, this is James Stefani Sterling and like a star shape. I think he's if you know wrestling, I think he's supposed to be a parody of some guy called Stardust, but he goes by Stardust. So that's like his name. I think he's supposed to look like that too. He's basically he's very fat and but he's wearing like a latex like BDSM bodysuit that contains his massive man breast, and he has a skirt. Prior to this, as he walked by, we got to see a glimpse of the gay nigga flag, which was displayed on the walls of the Episcopal church that they're in. By the way, Mountain Dweller met another Kiwi Farms user in person. 2 dedicated Kiwi Farms users went out here and patronized this gay wrestling event. I think this is Kid Bandit's intro. You can see many gay nigga flags on the right around the Episcopal. These are the marble block pillars supporting this church that they're doing this wrestling in. There's a gay nigga flag banner wrapped around it. There's a smattering of applause as Kid Bandit comes out and does like a weird like dance. I don't know what he's doing. He's like touching the ground or whatever. And there's like a smattering of people clapping for him. They showed James Stefani Sterling in his corner of the squared circle, and he actually appears to be some kind of physical exhausted already. Like, he already seems tired. He's not doing anything. He's just kind of looking down. I don't know if he's looking at Kid Bandit or looking away from Kid Bandit, but he looks like he's about to fall asleep. Oh, he's looking at Kid Bandit. Kid Bandit has entered the square circle and is crawling like imagine a Magikarp doing splash. That's what he's doing. This is actually really cringe, and I'm kind of, I feel like I'm going to throw up. He took off like his monster hoodie. He had like a Mimi kind of monster hoodie that he took off, and now he's like in a tank top, so you can see his man boobs as well, and he's like hip gyrating.
What an eccentric performance.
Oh my god, cringe. I don't play this game, but I watch a guy that does play it. It's called There Are Billions. It's like a zombie RTS game. And the worst thing about this game is the fucking voice acting is abysmal. And it's supposed to be like steampunk, but it's like cringe. And there's the biggest and best unit in the game is called the Titan. And the joke is that the Titan, despite being like this big, like Colossus, like mecha thing, is piloted by like a tea drinking British man who's like, the mighty Titan is here. And it's like a reversal. Like, oh, it's a big, powerful unit, but it's voiced by like a British person. It's extremely cringe and gay, is what I'm trying to say. And that's what Jim Sterling reminds me of. By the way, my favorite Nine Inch Nails song is Only. So while I play this next clip, if you happen to be a music critic, I would love to know your take on that opinion of mine. So here's another one. Gay slap fighting. Okay.
Let's transition, you know. Don't forget, subscribe to PewDiePie.
I know Kid Bandit is epically owned. Oh, Jim's horse John with the chair. He missed it. Oh, that's embarrassing. Even as like a stunt to do, he hit himself in the head because it bounced off the rope. Oh, that's really embarrassing. I guess the narrative is supposed to be that like Kid Bandit is now like epically owned, so now this is like the comeback. Like, oh, you gotta finish him, James. And he comes in there with the chair, and then he bonks himself on the head all whimsically, and it's like, oh no, this is the opportunity for Kid Bandit. This is what they're doing here. Is this trans genocide? The only hope. That wasn't even. He did like a look at this part. Watch. Look at Kid Bandit's face. He does like a shake, like, oh no, blank. And he does like a roundhouse kick. Hell yeah. Dude, they gotta hire me to be the announcer. I wanna, the next time that Kid Bandit and James Stefani Sterling are live in an Episcopal church, I want to be the narrator. and I want to give this kind of live commentary. Okay, I want to be invited to one of these. I can spice this up and get some dollars rolling in. Nobody got hit with a chair. Do it. He threw it. Oh, I forgot. He loves to do this thing. He does it in his videos too, where he does like the like maniacal evil British laugh, and he's gonna do it in person, and it's gonna make me cringe. Hit him! Hit him with the chair. That's so weak. He's just throwing it. Dude, put me in the ring. I'll hit James Stefani Sterling with that fucking chair. I'll smash that motherfucker with that chair. I'll do a really convincing job of hitting him with that chair. Okay, and then one more. This is the grand finale, apparently. That was pretty good. That was pretty good. There's even like a smacking sound. That's decent. See, once you get James Stefani Sterling bent over on all fours, his acting becomes much more convincing. I gotta say, I want to say the amateur wrestling gig between the Gorilla and the Hawa podcast was a much more convincing amateur wrestling bit that was completely fake and made up and staged. That was much more convincing. It felt more real to me, chat. Do it. Break that back. Break it once and for all. In the world of James. Oh, that was lame. You could see him catch himself. Watch. He's gonna hold himself up with his front arms. Just totally catches himself. What's wrong? Your herniated back couldn't take the Kid Bandit? Yeah, but it shouldn't be so fucking obvious. Listen, if I'm going to show up in person in England to watch these two wrastle, oh god, look at the man cleavage. He's got like the split breast that Queen Kafal's had, where they like part way outwards like men breasts do. That's really embarrassing. If I'm seeing trannies wrestle, I want to see some fucking pain. You get these fuckers doped up on a mixture of like ketamine and fentanyl so that they don't feel any pain and they are like manic as fuck. And then you throw them in the squared circle and just have them like rip each other apart. That's what I want to see. If I'm paying for this, I better see some of this shit. I am enjoying it. This is my two favorite wrestlers. My two favorite wrestlers who both happen to be women, coincidentally. Next. Meow Mix, which I haven't talked very often about, but we used to be very big when Jessica Simpson was big. Jonathan Yaniv has been kicked out of his house. So he decided to take residence at his mother's house, which is a 500 square meter apartment in a 55 plus living facility, where she already shared the apartment with her sister, and she already has her dog there, and it's a one pet facility. So Jonathan Yaniv, as a non-resident, was trying to move into a place for seniors and bring his own dog, which supposedly is a service dog, but isn't actually like registered as a service animal in any way. So he basically broke every single rule. On top of that, he had already been kicked out of this facility. He was already escorted out by, like, he was trespassed, so he couldn't come back, and then decided to move in anyways. Here's him moving in to his mother's apartment, and then the RCMP were called, and they've already kicked him out, I think is how that goes. Yeah, he's already been kicked out by the RCMP. Hey, Jessica, I love you! Oh my God, the condo that she lives in is 430,000 Canadian dollars. It is 430,000 Canadian dollars to live in a 510 square foot apartment in Ontario. 430,000 Canadian dollars to live in a 500 square foot condo in British Columbia. That's crazy. Dude, imagine being fucking Canadian. It's fucking disgusting. It's cheap in Canada. Sucks to be Canadian. All right. This is, by the way, a throwback. Thousands of years ago, when the Kiwi Farms was newish, there was a brief little love affair that the Kiwi Farms had with the Encyclopedia Dramatica forums, which was kind of sort of active, but not really. And one of the people that we ended up pulling into our orbit, unfortunately, was a guy called Onidus, the Mad Hatter, Onidus. I don't know how you pronounce his name. It doesn't matter. He was a sysop for Encyclopedia Dramatica. And during his rendezvous with the Kiwi Farms, we found out that he was actually like a cub fur diaper fetishist. And he was promptly de-opt on Encyclopedia Dramatica. He's one of those people that considers himself like a level 8,000 hacker and like constantly threatens you. And he's super, super fucking annoying. And he tried to participate endlessly in his thread. Now, on the Kiwi Farms, we're in an awkward position when it comes to attention whores, because on one hand, we generally will allow people to embarrass themselves as much as they want to. But on the other hand, when it comes to like seriously mentally ill, chronically attention deprived people, especially diaper people, the diaper people humiliation fetishists are like the most annoying people on the planet. I've mentioned this story a couple times, but there's a guy who, he kept sexually harassing YouTubers, and he also would send me like hundreds of emails a day, trying to get attention. And what he would do is he would flip-flop between like sending me embarrassing pictures of himself in diapers to begging me to try to censor the forum, to like legally threatening me to try and get me to post about that. And I basically just had to completely ignore him because he just wanted more attention, basically. So my compromise with this is that he has a thread. It is on the forum. It is uncensored, but it's locked. And what I would do is every time he sent me a new picture of himself in diapers holding a new identity document, because what he would do, I honestly don't know what exactly his gambit was, but he would send me pictures of himself holding up his social security card in a diaper, his unredacted birth certificate in a diaper, his driver's license in a diaper. And then when he got a new job, he would send proof of where he worked next to his IDs in a diaper, and he would hold that up. And then, of course, the second part of that was he would freak out and send legal threats and say, please, man, I have episodes and then they ruin my life and I just need you to do this. And it was just like all this shit constantly. And so what I did that actually worked eventually and got him to fuck off is I made the thread read-only. I locked it. And I would only post updates in it when it was something that was new. So if I got like, when he sent me his birth certificate for the first time, I posted that. If he sent it to me again, I didn't post that. When he sent his social security card, I posted that. But then if he sent it again, it did not post that. Then when he did his threats or his like pleading, I just ignored that. And eventually after months it worked and he stopped contacting me basically. So my point is that I am extremely good at handling annoying attention whores. And Onidus was not as bad as him, but he was definitely in that vein. And what we did for his thread that didn't work is that we moved it to the food board, because I think he had some kind of thing with beans where like he was into like farts, so we just made like constantly posted about beans in his thread, and the idea was to upset him because he wanted the topic to be about himself and not about beans, but that didn't work. Eventually he just started bean posting himself, so I just banned him and I locked the thread. 6 years later, an update comes out that he's actually been arrested because he posted violent threats against Mike Shitwood, who's the guy that's arrested many different people for violently threatening him because he's like the most pro-Israeli person on the planet. So Poltars will freak out and say, somebody should kill Mike Shitwood. And then they get arrested for it because they're not using it, because 4chan bans VPNs. So Onidus eventually got arrested for that exact same thing. Here's his perp walk, by the way. Is this what I was leading up to? An ad.
Why do you want me dead?
I am a Christian.
So am I.
All I can do is to know you
So
are
am I.
not. You are not.
How do you know that?
Because in Corinthians it says.
How do you know that? Because in Corinthians, and then just cuts away.
Matthew, I'm Sheriff Chitwood. I'm the guy you want to kill. And there's nothing I can do about it. Challenge accepted.
I sent you a sermon.
Dude, look at that guy's nose. I never noticed that Shitwood himself was Jewish.
Challenge
Check out
accepted.
that honker, bro. No wonder why he loves
I sent
Israel
you
so
a
fucking
sermon.
much.
It was from Romans chapter
does look like
5,
Ralph.
6 and 7.
But you do know in Florida, a written threat to kill is a felony. You know that. Well, look, just so you know, I'm the one who made sure you came back. And I hope you enjoy your stay at the branch jail.
You enjoy your stay? Listen, I'm on to something here.
I will also tell you that you will not see Mickey Mouse on this trip, and you have to reimburse us for your flight here and
Sir,
for your stay at the county jail. Why don't you look me in the eye and tell me why you want me dead? Why do you want me dead?
I am a Christian.
So
All
am I.
I can do is to know you
So
are
am
not.
I.
You are not.
How do you know that?
Because in Corinthians it says bondsmen are not Christian.
Okay. Well, we're going to take you.
You are not Christian.
We're going to take you where you need to go.
Fine.
We will make sure the cell has rubber in it.
We can't get into. There we go. Well, okay. Into the pee-pee poo-poo rape prison with you, Onidus, which he probably enjoys, to be quite honest with you. I have not seen this, but I complained a couple episodes ago, I think, that there was a documentary on furries, and one of the people that it was about was that weird wolf guy, tranny, Naya Wolf, and they were basically trying to do this thing where, the furries were the heroes that exposed the zoo sadists in their communities because they're just lovable weirdos. Supposedly, in this episode, they finally credit the Kiwi Farms, but apparently it's like very begrudgingly. I haven't watched this. I figured I'd watch it live on stream. So we're going to watch this now. So the intro is, anyways, Naya Kami went on a ramble defending non-practicing zoophiles while looking like a complete fool. You shouldn't judge them until they break the law. The editor is left in her. Got a pronoun respecter here. What's up with you, pronoun respecter? Left in her, stuttering, and asked to do the take again. And then at the end, they gets a phone call. I love the editing of this shit. They're pulling no punches against anyone. So they left in the, please let's do another take. That's funny. Okay, let's see.
My God, it is wrong.
Oh my God, Jesus.
Would go and just pet them and be next to them and...
Can I go? I kind of have a monologue. If you have an attraction to something and you didn't commit a crime, if I were to pass judgment on you, we would be living in, Tom Cruise's, frick. Name of the movie escapes.
Minority Report.
Thank you. Can I redo that?
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't understand what would cause somebody to be attracted to an animal. It grosses me out, it does. But until they have committed the act of bestiality, until they have harmed that animal, I don't feel I can pass judgment on them. Otherwise, we would live in Minority Report. One moment.
I hate
actually
living
take
around
that.
minorities.
This is Naya. I am on set filming. I'm so sorry.
No.
All the trannies look the fucking same, bro. So yeah, that's fucking embarrassing. This is actually a good clip. The documentary gives some coverage to Kiwi Farms. They give Kiwi Farms credit for doxing Snake Thing. However, they characterize it as an alt-right QAnon site full of bad people, but not necessarily lies. That's about as good as it gets with these people.
Finding their addresses, their real names, social medias, and posting them publicly.
In terms of actual investigation and pursuing of people, I mean, I credit the people on Kiwi Farms. I want to be careful with what I say. I don't approve of a lot of things that go on that site, but without them, I don't think the leaks would have been anywhere near as significant as they were.
I'm not going to say that every action on the site is terrible, although I would argue most are.
Kiwi Farms was started by one of the coders for 8chan, notorious for being the spawning ground for the QAnon movement. It's alt-right, you know, it's a hate site, but there are people who go there to leak things or report things where it's a bad site full of bad people, but not necessarily lies.
By going through the conversations on Kiwi Farms, somebody else had found who Snake Thing was. They found his DeviantArt account. They found his address, his date of birth. It was the blackmail fetish.
Well, Snake Thing was one of the really bad ones. He got arrested. That wasn't as bad as I thought it was. He didn't characterize it as a QAnon site. He said that I was a coder for 8chan, which was true. And then he said 8chan was a QAnon site. So he's trying to give context that anybody who could code for a terrible thing like the QAnon and 8chan must also be a terrible person, I guess. I was not named, though. Notably, the words Joshua Moon were not said. I guess that's a bridge too far, huh? I also love it. You guys know when I'm trying to be diplomatic about something that isn't necessarily something I usually am diplomatic about, I get really contemplative about what I'm saying, and I talk really slow, and I make sure, of course, to preface a lot of what I say with I front load things in a way to make sure that it's clear. My position doesn't. It's like that. Like they're all like swallowing their tongue trying to figure out how to say this as diplomatically as possible. I'm not sure if I want to play any of these clips. This guy did go ahead and make a bunch of clips though. It's just Chantel eating. Chantel is still in Syria, and she's gorging on KFG, and Syria is being bombed. She's going to the grocery store and showing that produce exists, but she actually just prefers KFG. She looks fatter than ever. I think that now that she wears the hijab, she is more comfortable to just be as fat as humanly fucking possible. Because it's like you can't see all her chins, but you can clearly see from this angle she's fatter than she's probably ever been in her entire life. She got hit by a bus. Okay, we'll play that.
Basically, we were parked, like, you know how the streets are kind of narrow because there's cars parked everywhere? So we were parked on the side of the street, and it was very narrow because there were other cars on the other side of the street. So then what happened was, you know, a huge bus was trying to come through, and then I was in the car alone. I had my window rolled down because I was trying not to use all the AC, like, you know, I don't know, just I hate the car idling, you know, because of that. So the bus had its window open, and he said something in Arabic, and I didn't understand a word of it. So I just said, you know, La Arabi, no Arabic, and he just like tried to squeeze through anyways, and he hit the side of the car, the Syrian Cherry, but there didn't end up being any damage, but it felt like there would be, like it shook the car, and I was just like, Okay, well, there's that.
Did I hit a post recently? And I for sure thought my bumper would be fucked. My bumper was fine. Didn't even chip the paint or scratch it or anything. But so I guess they do a really good job of making it so that you can hit shit now and it doesn't fuck up your car. I backed up and it didn't show up on the camera and it didn't beep anything. And I just hit the post. And very slowly, which I guess is why I didn't scratch anything. Listen, on my driver's license it says good driver, and I get a good driver discount on my insurance. Okay, I'm a good driver. I've never hit anything before. I might have bumped into my own trash can once, but that's it. Okay. The camera lies. What's this? I don't want to see her eat and burp, bro. I'm not fucking what's his face. I'm not anime gooner guy, okay? Okay, she's been going to Lebanon to get money. We know about that, though. I did play that clip. She got hit by a bus. That's pretty funny. Okay, brief update on the Greer V Moon case in year 5. So Russell Greer was so ordered to pay us $1,000. I'll remind you, he was sanctioned in December and ordered to pay, and we petitioned to be paid, I think, $5,000. The statutory language for the sanction that we won was that we must be paid that amount of money. Because I don't think he even objected to it in a meaningful way. So statutorily, we must be paid $5,000. The judge comes in for whatever reason and says, you have to pay them $1,000. And as I've explained before, that's really shitty because number one, he's breaking the rules. But number two, there's no point appealing it because we got what we won, basically. So it's kind of strange to appeal your own victory. So it's just one of those things where you just have to sit and spin, basically. Russell Greer then boldly declared to the court that in spite of the court order saying that he must pay us $1,000, he would pay us nothing, stalker child. So the judge was like, okay, well, I ordered you to pay $1,000. In fact, I was being quite generous to you. So I don't know what the fuck your issue is. Pay them $1,000 or else we'll ask you to pay another $500. So Russell Greer was there ordered to pay us $1,000. And he did not. And then he was ordered to pay $1,500 by a certain date. And he did not. So now Russell Greer has been ordered to pay us $1,500 or by a certain date, or else the judge will ask him to show cause again. Dun, dun, dun. Where presumably, if he doesn't pay that, he'll then be ordered to pay $2,000. Oh, wait, hold up. Let me put my pinky to the corner of my mouth. $2,000. Like that. Okay, and then we'll just keep playing this game until the heat death of the fucking universe, effectively. Which I'm fine with. It's cheaper than a lawsuit. Next, let's take a look at what our buddy Jason Thor Hall is up to. The vile enemy, Maldavius Figtree. This is an old clip, and he's doing something that I'll explain, okay? But let's just see what he's up to. Let's just play this, and then we'll do a recap of it, okay?
Place my head between them and go full burr mode and make...
What? What? What is this? Where is it?
Okay. The vile enemy Maldavius Figtree had at one point in time made so much money in one day on Twitch that he broke the all-time subathon record on Twitch. A subathon is when you pretend to be doing a community event, but the community event is literally just to give you money. And you call it a subathon because it's like you just keep streaming until you make all the money that you could possibly make, and then you go to bed. And that's apparently a thing that people get really hyped for on Twitch. Previously, the vile enemy Maldavius Figtree had been the top number, held the record for the biggest subathon on Twitch. but he lost it. Now, Maldavius Figtree is not one to be usurped. He's a king. He worked for Blizzard. In fact, he's a second-generation Blizzard employee, and he's not going to be simply put down like that. He's a winner. So what he did is he did another subathon. And into this, which, by the way, was successful, he did reclaim his #1 sub spot as a result of his subathon. And while doing that, apparently nobody noticed this until the legions of Ross combed through his stream history and found this. It's kind of hard to see because of how my monitors are set up, but he's talking to a guy who identifies as a copyright attorney, but from my understanding, he's actually not as accredited as he likes to pretend. It says here, let me open this on a different screen actually so I can see what the fuck is on it. It's really, really tight. Ripe and tight, as they like to say in certain sectors. Okay, he says, let me know if you do. Bits is going to be the best way to do it due to the return if you need to save it. Why does he care how people are paying him for his subathon? Kronos the 7th says, bits rather than T3s, referring to tier 3 subs where I think you pay $25 for a subscription. Pirate Software says T3s might be better, don't know. Bits is an 82% return when you buy them in bulk. Have you bought any yet? Kronos, what are they talking about? This is supposed to be a community event about getting people to get on the sub train. Woot woot, right? About people. Kronos the 7th says, I've done 100 T1s on my personal. Ready to do 40 T3s on an alt. Can do bits instead or both. Kronos says, did 50k bits at 20 seconds left. It says, oh, okay. What is the alt account? And then it says, serendipitous bean. Where's the beef? And then he says, didn't mention this to the mods either. Now the challenge is to clear the queue. Chat. If I didn't know better, the vile enemy, Maldavius Figtree, in his record-breaking subathon that is the current #1 record for most subs generated in a single stream, was in fact a put-upon, where he actively conspired with other Twitch streamers to falsely donate to himself in order to achieve that record. In fact, considering what has the highest return on investment, because if you donate bits instead of subs, then you get 82% of your money back. So it appears that the vile enemy Maldavius Figtree, who is famous for having the #1 subathon of all time, in fact, literally faked that. He faked not only being a Blizzard employee that did work on World of Warcraft, he not only faked his voice, he not only faked his coding chops and his indie game credentials, he appears to fake even his subathons, chat. The vile enemy has no limits to what he will lie about, as it seems. And this was only discovered because he went after poor Ross of Accursed Farms. In fact, the vile enemy Maldavius Figtree is so vile and so capable of lying that even those in his vicinity are liars. As it turns out, the person he's talking to, Kronos, who identifies as a copyright attorney, might not even be a copyright attorney. So his credentials were put under scrutiny because of this little event. And as it turns out, he might not be what he says he is either, despite his I believe this is the guy, by the way, that I can't remember exactly what this was, but I think he consulted some. Oh, it was the first time that he was in the news. It was when he went after that indie game that was parroting streamers, and he said, I'm talking to a real copyright attorney who tells me that using my voice is a copyright infringement. This is the guy. This is the guy that told him he could sue that indie game for using his voice, even though it was clear-cut fair use parody, because he's not a real copyright attorney. So that's why this guy is familiar, because he solicits him for advice on what fucking indie game developers to bully into submission. Fascinating. After this news came out, by the way, He says, no stream today, woke up feeling gross, back tomorrow. To which he received 50 tranny flags and 30 gay flags and 25 rainbows and 11 German flags, and the ultimate disrespect. So I think that trannies, whenever they get like in everyone, I imagine them like vent zombies, they're like gooning, and then they hear doot doot, and they like click over immediately, and they're still stroking it with their left hand, and then they just, without even reading the post, they just put a tranny flag sticker on it. It's kind of like when you see pictures on Twitter of like women's restrooms, and it's just like a tranny flag sticker, and then like the carved in words, a tranny peed here and nobody got hurt. It's like that. They just got to make sure you know that a tranny was there and tranny read your post and reacted to it, even if it has no association to the content whatsoever. So this, he was called a tranny by his community, basically, because that's what he's cultivated, because he's a fucking loser. And he dipped. Meanwhile, the hero of the story, Ross, reached his 1.4 million European signatures for the Stop Killing Games initiative. That was his stretch goal. Even he at some point bumped it up and said, there was so much activity that he was afraid that even 1.2 million wouldn't be enough. He really would have felt safe with 1.4 million, which he has now achieved in the final week of July, the last week that he had. However, the vile enemies of Stop Killing Games have conspired against him. In particular, there is an anonymous complaint against the Stop Killing Games, which was called at launch Stop Destroying Video Games, but then he got reworked to Stop Killing Games. An anonymous complaint which alleges a violation of disclosures in the initiative. Effectively, Ross had said in one of his videos that he put in tons and tons and tons of hours of work promoting his initiative. And the gist of the complaint is that, here's the exact quote from the article. There have been many weeks on the campaign where I've been working 12 to 14 hours a day to keep this thing moving to get signatures. And I've been running a rickshaw carrying people to the destination. So he's saying, I put in tons of my own hours volunteering time to this initiative. And they even break down and say it's about 2,000 hours tops, just roughly guessing, which could be up to 150,000 euros of professional contribution. Ross, not being a European, means that this is outside the EU contribution, undeclared 150,000 euros of professional marketing that was not disclosed to the European Union. So this anonymous complaint, which broke down his admissions of his own hard work, is now being used against him to say that he did not declare, as he should have, the amount of monetary assets he was being put forward to this, because he didn't factor in his own time in the process. So therefore, the 1.4 million signatures promoting this were illegally obtained, and the whole initiative should be thrown out. Is this mauled? It could be mauled. It's anonymous. So it could be industry people. It could be some asshole. It could be the vile enemy Maldavius Figtree. But I'll tell you this. If the EU throws up this initiative because of this fucking bullshit, because of 150,000 euros of undisclosed volunteer work by the guy that started it, the EU is a fucking joke, and anyone who has any hope for the EU ever doing anything useful ever again is a fucking retard, and I will never, ever, ever talk about any EU fucking anything ever again. Like, this is the most pathetic, lazy attempt to discredit 1.5 million people supporting something I've ever fucking seen. It's actually just sickening, which it's just like... These big businesses are just fucking evil, chat. They're just so evil, and they really fucking hate you, and they just really want you to be cattle. I talked about that Valve thing again, where it's like, we were so spoiled by games companies in the past. We were so spoiled by people who gave a shit and just wanted to make good games that people remember. Like how Left 4 Dead and Team Fortress 2 are like 20 years old at this point, and people still play them. Left 4 Dead and Team Fortress 2 still consistently rank in like the top 100 games on Steam charts because they're still good games, even though they're ancient. And you can, like, the modern game slap that they shovel out on whatever marketplace is just so bad, and it has no longevity because nobody puts any fucking thought into what they do. And they want to keep that gravy train rolling forever. They never want to have to make a game that people can just enjoy. By the way, I found out recently, just because I mentioned it offhand, there are still people who play RuneScape Classic. Classic. Not old school RuneScape. Let me show you what RuneScape Classic looks like in case you don't know. I can't go to that because I have a VPN on. This. Yeah, this is the good shit right here. I don't want to play any audio. Here, just look at this. There are still people playing this. At some point, the RuneScape Classic source code got leaked, and this game still maintains like 100 active players at any given time. Like there are still people walking around playing the old RuneScape Classic, because it's like people, this is exactly what the whole thing is for. It's like people want to continue to play these old ass fucking games for whatever. Oh my god, seeing the old cow graphics is giving me like a fucking fit, bro. It has been so long since I've been in this pasture killing these PNGs of cows. I was like a 8-year-old. I was a little child when I played, and the things just pop over your head when you do stuff. Oh my god, that's crazy. I'm just saying that people think of these games as like disposable, and there's like a huge, not huge, but there's a contingency of people who are very happy to go mining in RuneScape Classic forever, and it's a shame that their autistic toy is being taken away from them. I am getting nostalgia, dude. This was my jam, man. I remember, I could tell you, I put so many hours into this game even before RuneScape 2, which then became RuneScape Old School. I could tell you any number of caveats and weird quirks and differences between this game and the in old school RuneScape. Like how whenever you attempted an action, if you failed, you would have to click to re-attempt it. How when you harvested stuff, if you had no inventory space, it would just automatically drop on the floor. In Underground Pass, there would be little red text that would send you like scary messages about Ivan and stuff. I don't know how you had to, like, I don't know. It's so crazy. In so many years, chat. I was. It's true. Ivan's is where I got my name, the famous username that I'm most famous for. Sorry, I was just watching footage of RuneScape. Candace Owens is being sued by Emmanuel and Brigitte Macron, who are the president and first ladies of France, because Candace Owens called Brigitte Macron a tranny. And so now she is being sued by La France in the United States, specifically in the Superior Court of Delaware. He's going after Candace Owens LLC, and George Tom Inc. in Delaware, demanding a jury trial. The complaint says, in March 2024, Candace Owens, a right-wing podcaster, told the world that she would stake her entire professional reputation on the fact that Brigitte Macron is in fact a man. Since then, Owens has used this false statement to promote her independent platform, gain notoriety, and make money. Owens disregarded all credible evidence, disproving her claim in favor of platforming known conspiracy theorists and proven defamers, and rather than engage with the president and Mr. Macron's attempt to set the record straight. Wow, they actually reached out to say, no, we are not les franes. My wife has le vagina. Owens mocked them and attempted to use that as additional fodder for her frenzied fan base. What a fucking retard. I mean, if the first lady of France is offering you like a DNA test or whatever the fuck, why would you not accept that? That's stupid. What I actually really enjoy about this is that it forces Macron to like tacitly admit that being a tranny is like defamatory. Like if it's not a harmful statement, then it can't be defamatory, right? It doesn't cause any injury. So she has to allege that calling her a tranny is in fact a bad thing that makes people not like her and it harms them. Which is pretty base. Good luck with that. Fuck that shit. Here's some good content. This is by the way, Geordie Jord, the Wings of Redemption, is fatter than I've ever fucking seen him. I thought he was losing weight at some point, but I think this is actually his fattest. So let's see. He's playing, I think, Call of Duty. Let's see what he does here, chat. perfect. As the kids like to say, chef's kiss. We got the classic Call of Duty live reaction, spins around, chucks that fucking controller, spikes it against the wall like a frisbee. You get to see the full fatness, and then he leans back, and you get that audio sting. Just perfect. Exactly what I want to hear when I'm listening to a Wings of Redemption clip. It's just amazing. It's immaculate. Big ups, peep. That's my favorite thing about Jory is how he says peep like that. I've made references to this before where people say certain words with the I, like the I is not just a sharp I or a long I. It's like a super sharp I with multiple octaves above regular I's where it goes peep. Oh, that fucking chair, peep. It's great. And then there's some low tier God drama. I really don't fucking like low tier God. As I've said before, low tier God is just black. He's not interesting. He's not doing things like, it's weird when you see Jordy Jordan doing shit like this because he's not black and people expect better of not black people. Low tier God being angry and threatening people and talking about my dick, like every black person does that. You can just go to Monkey app and flip through and you'll find like 8 million low tier gods within the first 10 minutes. Okay. So I don't find them interesting. However, I do find it interesting when people are enabled to be gross, disgusting goblins. Low tier Balrog was like his main A-log channel. And YouTube, and here's a fun fact about YouTube, okay? They've instigated, what's the word for this? They've put in new rules. And I talked about how the Indians were affected by this because they're trying to get rid of slop channels. It's actually disguised as that. There's two things that it does. One of which is that it attacks people just trying to upload slop. It also negatively impacts all clip channels. So if there's not transformative commentary or editing, then they will demonetize those channels. But also, if the content is not first uploaded to YouTube. So this also affects like the Kino Casino clip channel, where if the content is uploaded to Kick first and then clipped down to YouTube, that is now in violation of their original content rules. So Low Tier God exploited this and got Low Tier Balrog banned from YouTube basically for clipping his shit. So it's just so frustrating because it's like I can replace all sorts of shit. Like I use Waze instead of Google Maps. I use Proton instead of the Google Office suite and Google Mail. I use VPNs by different companies. I use browsers by different companies. I use everything that a search engine by different company. I use everything that I possibly fucking can as de-Googled as humanly possible. And the one thing I cannot get rid of is YouTube. And YouTube is doing everything humanly possible to make it so that you cannot escape their ecosystem. You can't download their videos as easily as you could before. They're actively fighting that. They're demonetizing. If you stream off of YouTube and try to promote your stuff on YouTube, they're demonetizing that. They're banning those channels. They're doing literally everything they possibly can to strangle their monopoly. Because when it comes to things like Waze and browsers, you always have choice. Like even if it's difficult to find a good alternative, there is theoretically the possibility of choice. But we've always seen a difficulty with social media sites of coming up with alternatives. We found this like with the Fediverse before X was bought up by Elon Musk. That what a social media platform like YouTube has that you can't replace is a community and existing content. When a place like X exists or YouTube or Facebook, what they're actually selling you is not the product of the platform because their platform is extremely simple. They're selling you access to the eyes and ears of the people on that platform. So YouTube, as like the #1 media company in the entire universe right now, they can't be replaced because they have existing, gigabillion Google bits of existing data. And then on top of that, they have the ad network that is exclusive to YouTube, basically. And then on top of that, they have the creators. So if you want to promote your stuff, you basically have no choice. If you want to grow on Rumble or Kick, you have to promote on YouTube. And they know that. And so they've seen the success of things like Kick and Rumble rising up. So now they're clamping down on these clip channels. And I fucking hate Neil Mahan. I hate YouTube. I hate these fucking companies. I actually get genuinely angry. I was driving and I was thinking about payment processors. And I was listening to Rammstein or something. And I just started yelling. I started screaming like a fucking lunatic about how much it disgusted me, not just payment processors, but I was thinking about the collective shout. And I was thinking that there were people who are Randalls. They're Randalls for the financial systems. They're little tattletale Randalls that walk up to the payment processors like, Mr. Payment Processor, God above that rules everything. There are people violating your many terms of services. Don't you want to demonetize them forever? Those people exist. And they sleep soundly and safely at night. And I thought about how fucking disgusting it is that there exist Randalls for banks. And I just started screaming. Like, I got so frustrated. I was like, ah! It disgusts me. It genuinely fucking nauseates me that they're out there. And I can't do anything about it. I can't do anything to these people. It to the fucking core. To the fucking core, it makes me angry. That they're out there narking. Low tier God somehow has the pull on YouTube to say, I don't like how these clip channels make me look, and they make fun of me. And he's able to Randall to fucking YouTube, and they're like, my good sir, we will simply destroy his 10-year-old YouTube channel and demonetize him for you. Don't you worry, we'll take care of that. My good sir. And it's like, they exist, and they get what they want. There's a guy that I watch called what's his name? Jensen, I think. And he does this thing on YouTube where he reviews Dota players playing in the lowest rank called Herald. And he likes to say this thing that I always find funny. When a player is doing something really stupid, but then it pays off anyways because the other player is also stupid, he gets kind of frustrated because he's like, that guy is doing the wrong thing, but because he got a kill for doing the dumbest thing possible, he thinks that what he's doing is really smart, actually, and it's like hindering him. So he's like, yeah, that person got positively rewarded for that. And that's what he says a lot of the times. Like, yeah, that guy, like, he did something really stupid, wasted a bunch of time, but he got a kill for it, so he feels positively rewarded. This guy feels positively rewarded for narking and for being a Randall. A little fucking Randall narc bitch. What's the word for like informants in prison? It's just narc, right? Snitch. He's a little snitch. This black guy is a little snitch. If low tier God was sent to jail, he'd be getting the fucking juice on his lips the first day because he's just a fucking snitch bitch. The lowest bottom barrel, take it up the fucking ass, narc, snitch, Randall, cuckold bitch on the whole fucking planet. And he gets positively rewarded for that. He gets the juice on his lips from Neil Mahan just like he wants. I hate it. It physically nauseates me that this is how our system is structured. That if you've never read it, please go search Theodore Kaczynski, The System's Neatest Trick, and read it. That our system is set up, and it doesn't require. People get this confused and think that when you talk about like how Jews run the world, a Jew will say, do you think that all Jews get together in a boardroom on weekends and talk about how we're going to fuck over the Goyim? You don't have to. If you read The System's Neatest Trick by Dr. Theodore John Kaczynski, it explains in language a child can understand how our system positively reinforces bad behavior, Randall behavior, narc, snitch, bitch, low tier God, collective shout behavior. It consistently positively rewards this behavior in a way where people will instinctively operate a certain way, not because the boardroom issued a directive and people are actively conspiring to work that way, but just because that's the flow. That's how things are going, and people will stick with the flow just mindlessly and be positively rewarded for doing things that are so morally vacuous that they should be shocking and offensively disgusting to people. And that is our entire fucking society. is shit like this, where low tier God feels rewarded. He went after a person clipping his videos that he voluntarily puts on the internet. Nothing in the entire world forces this man to go online and act like a fucking monkey in public and record videos to the internet. And then he gets paid for it. He does it because he gets paid for it. And despite being a paid performer who voluntarily puts his fucking behavior on the internet, he gets upset that people clip him and make him look like a fool without having to watch the full context of his videos and give him money for it. But that's his fucking job, and those are the perils of his job. And he is still positively rewarded for taking down channels and complaining to YouTube and being a bitch about it. I hate it. I hate it. I want to see a society where when someone narcs to a bank or to YouTube, they're called out as the fucking hall monitor that they are. There should be no mercy for these people. The people who go around issuing little reports to YouTube or Twitter or Facebook or whatever and write little complaints like, no, this guy said something I didn't like. That should go on like a permanent fucking blacklist. I would love to see a permanent blacklist of every company that cucked out to DEI bullshit back before it was popular not to do that. Like every Budweiser, every group that did this shit when they thought that was what was making money. And they should literally never be forgiven for it. The Randalls and hall monitors should never be forgiven for it. And quite frankly, they shouldn't be allowed to reproduce. If you have the genetic predisposition to be a fucking Randall hall monitor snitch, you should be forcibly sterilized because you have a poison gene in you that is detrimental to the good of all of society. And it should be violently eliminated through eugenics, if at all possible. Because I don't think this is like a nature v nurture thing. I'm sure that's like a combination of both, like being gay. Like if low tier God had been molested, he'd probably be a faggot. But instead he's a Randall. He has that fucking narc gene that turns you into a gay if you get molested. It's like not everybody who gets molested becomes gay, and not everyone who's gay is molested, but most people are like in that Venn diagram overlap. And it's like a lot of people who were meant to be gay but then never got molested and never activated, they just become low tier God Randall narcs, basically. That's my thought. He has 3 kids. He has 3 kids with different baby mamas, right? He's so fucking black. It's so typical, man. It's so fucking typical. He needs. That's why he's going after the clip channels. He needs that fucking money for that alimony and those baby mamas and shit and those child supports. You know how them feminist judges and shit. As I said, man, you gotta pay for your kids. I gotta pay for my kids. I gotta pay for my kids. I don't make no money on YouTube. I got these clip channels. And they're taking all my money. I don't make all the money that I deserve because of these motherfucking clip channels and shit. Just breaking down my hustle. And I can't afford these kids, y'all. I can't afford them. I'm disgusted. What can I play? I need something to calm down. I'm so angry. I need something to relax. I'm about to play something. You know what? Emergency directive. Hold up. Let me check my my assets real quick. See if there's a hamster. I need an emergency, okay? My cheese box is not in yet. Make sure to go to madhattheinternet.locals.com and subscribe so I can keep buying cheese boxes. I will give you my review of my cheese when my cheese comes in again. Do I not have a Bossman Jack? I don't have a Bossman Jack hamster? What the fuck? What am I doing with my life? Oh, let's just do a Bossman Jack just real quick, okay? It's just a really quick Bossman Jack sesh, okay? Okay, first off, I have set up KiwiFarms.tv. It's on a temporary host right now. It's on invite only because it doesn't have a lot of disk space. But basically what happened is, I'm trying to get to something to relax, to calm my fucking nerves, not to piss myself off again. So you know how people are putting the N-word on their Bossman Jack clips so that fucking retards on YouTube can't use it to make money? Again, not like a directive I put out. They just want to do that because they hate the clippers on YouTube. So get this, to watch Bossman Jack when he does private Discord streams, people had set up a bot that automatically broadcasts his Discord streams to Kick and then to Rumble. Rumble has rules against gambling content, and Kick has rules against banned users being restreamed. So the fucking pickle guy that hates the guys putting inwards on the videos, he's narking to Kick and Rumble to get the restreams taken down so that we can't watch the restreams. And being positively rewarded, this guy that should not be in the gene pool, being positively rewarded for being a little fucking Randall narc snitch bitch, lowest fucking rung of human being on the fucking planet, bottom of the barrel, worst type of thing to ever exist, positively rewarded for being scum. So I've set up KiwiFarms.tv to allow people to restream the Discord streams for Bossman Jack to that, which is working well. And I have a plan. We have a bunch of hardware that I need to bring back online, and we're working. I promise we're working on it. Things are actually progressing now, and I'm gonna put a GPU in it that can do media encoding. I'm thinking of getting an NVIDIA Titan, which is like an older GPU, but it can handle like 12 streams of encoding and can do like 1280p to 720 and stuff, and that way we can restream at a decent bit rate and stuff. Anyways, my point is we're working on that, and .tv is using PureTube, so we're probably going to get, if I right now it's not federated, but I would like to bring up .cc in the future too. Crunklord is still interested in the Fediverse. For some reason I thought Crunklord gave up on the Fediverse, but he wants to do it again. So we'll probably bring up PureTube and the Fediverse in the nearest future. I have been working on that. And we just need to get that server online with its own IP and stuff. And then I'll put in a Titan so we can do media encoding and go from there. I bring this up because, yeah, fuck this guy. Just pointing out that we have it up now. Next, I have some Bossman Jack clips. I don't remember what clip this is, but I'm going to play it.
See Monroe tab. Close it, close it, close it, close it, close it. Okay, we're good. All right. Start a podcast? That'd be kind of cool, dude. Yep. Guys, if you want to know, listen, all I got to say is, I hear people ask all the time. People ask all the time, boss, how do I make generational money? How do I retire at 30? Gamble. You got to gamble to get the big stacks. There's no other way to it, bro. I'm not going to lie. If you don't gamble, you're not going to get money then. Okay? I'm just kidding, guys. I'm just kidding. Don't ban me, Twitch. Don't ban me, Twitch. I'm just kidding. All right, guys. $750 start.
That's a new one. Someone gave him the Get It Twisted copy pasta, and he's integrated that into his jokes. Like, he has his little Bossmanisms, and he's updated it to include Get It Twisted, gamble at it, so he'll become wealthy, which I really appreciate. It's a new joke. He's been stuck for a while. He got a new sponsor with Hal, and he went live on Twitch to promote his sponsor. This stream lasted 45 minutes, of which about 40 of that was actually gambling. He got a reload for $1,000, which is why he has like 750 in this clip. This is shortly after. Let's see how his new sponsor is going. Again, 45 minutes into this new sponsor.
I actually want to die, dude. I swear to God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Thank you so much. Oh my God, dude. Oh my God. Back to backs. That would have been so crazy. Thank God I won that, dude. Oh my God, dude. Oh my God. It's fucking, dude. What the fuck? Bro. How does it miss every fucking time? Oh my God, bro. Bro. What the fuck? I am not playing on this scam site ever again, dude. I want to die, dude. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding, dude. Oh my fucking God. I just lost $2,100. And I am quitting. I quit everything, dude. I'm giving up. When I say I'm giving up, I mean I'm giving up, dude. I love you guys so much, man. I'm done doing this, bro. I'm fucking done, dude. I swear to God, I'm done, dude. I am done, bro. I've quit. I'm miserable. I've been miserable for months. I've been miserable for a long time. I fucking hate my life. I'm giving up, dude. I am giving up on everything. When I mean everything, I literally mean I'm done, dude. I literally am so done, bro. I quit. I fucking hate. I'm gonna, dude. I swear, you guys will see what's gonna happen, dude. You guys will see, bro. I'm done, guys. I actually don't want to be alive anymore, dude. I don't want to be alive anymore, dude. I don't want to be alive anymore, dude. I don't want to be alive anymore, dude. Look at all these fucking weirdos laughing at me. This makes me even worse. You guys literally make me want to do some crazy shit, bro. You guys, I literally hate you guys so much, bro. You guys have no idea. I fucking want to give up. I'm done, dude. I give up, dude. I give up, dude. I give up, bro. I literally give up on everything, bro. I give up on everything, bro. I literally give up on everything. I literally give up on everything, bro. I fucking hate my life. I want to die, dude. I literally want to die, dude. I want to die, bro. I want to die, bro. I want to fucking die, dude. I want to die, dude. Hurry up and ban me, Twitch, please. I want to die. I want to die. I want to fucking die, dude. I want to fucking die. I want to die because gambling is ruining my life. I want to die because gambling has ruined my life. They take thousands of dollars off me every fucking day, dude. I fucking hate my life, bro. I'm gonna die, dude. Oh my fucking god, bro.
What's he gonna die though? Does he have like shirt? Maybe he's. Oh, I remember a long time ago when I was a little kid, my mom got like a tie-dye kit and we made tie-dye t-shirts. I think that's what he's talking about. That's a good way to relieve stress after a hard gamba sesh where you lost a lot of money. You can get a cheap little tie-dye kit, make some tie-dye shirts with your dad and your mom. Sounds like a good time, chat. Then he posted this. Oh, this was the copy pasta. It says, if you guys want to get into gambling, good fucking idea. You will hit, you will profit, you will win. Don't be a pussy. Deposit and go big. Thanks, guys. Good luck at everyone. Okay, much better. I feel like the tension has released, chat. So, speaking of the Fediverse, I think this was what I was supposed to talk after the Kiwi Farms.tv thing, but Post, who, God, this is another throwback. A long time ago when we were setting up the Fediverse and I was encouraging people to use it before Drop Kiwi Farms took it offline. Post and Graph are like these recurring characters. If you don't know, Graph is like this really weird guy. He's like a Destiny tier short, and he's also like an alcoholic. And he's one of those people that has like an Andrew Torba savior complex, where he's like, I am the harbinger of the freedom of speech, and I am the most freedom of speech man in the whole world. And I'm not going to cooperate with anyone in making the change that I want to see, because I alone am the savior, and I am going to do all the important things myself, and people will respect me alone for this. Like that's what Andrew Torba does, where it's just like, he is freedom of speech man, and he is the light that guides the way, and everyone else is just a pretender. So he's very difficult to get along with, is my point. In particular, he got in a scrap with me at some point. I think this is one of the first times we got into an argument, because I use Proton, and I like Proton, and I really respect what they do. And he said, everybody, don't use Proton. Only trust me. I alone am your savior and your privacy expert. I am the most goodest of freedom of speech and personal privacy. And his reasons for saying don't trust Proton was that a neo-fascist in France had been doxxed through a French subpoena against Proton. Now, what Proton was able to disclose to the French was not any of his emails. His emails were encrypted, as they say they do. But he had been signing in without a VPN. And in fact, the way that Swiss law works is that email services have to retain IP addresses for a fixed amount of time. VPNs do not. And Proton offers both the VPN and an email service. So if you just use the Proton VPN that comes bundled with the premium Proton email that you can pay with Bitcoin, you can use the VPN to log into the email and then have no IP logs that are meaningful. He did not do this. He logged straight into his email without a VPN. And when the French petitioned the Swiss courts for a Swiss court order, they gave up the IP logs for the email service, which included a real IP address for this French nationalist, which resulted in him being arrested for hate speech. So Graph comes out swinging and says, don't trust Proton. And all I'm thinking is, this demonstrates that Proton is extremely upfront about what they do and do not keep, and is a good reason to trust them. And when I told him that, I said, Graph, what would you do if you got subpoenaed? Like, you can't not answer a subpoena. Are you going to fight subpoenas? Or are you just going to ignore it? What do you think you're going to do? And he had no answer for this. So many years later, we get to figure out what Graf is going to do when he gets a subpoena. He says, "Hello, friends. I am posting this unredacted in the interest of transparency with posts and its users. This morning, I received a call from the lawyer that established our LLC in Wyoming, informing me that we have received a subpoena." So he's Canadian, but his LLC is incorporated in Wyoming. This subpoena was filed on behalf of the North Dakota Human Rights Coalition, Immigrant Development Center, and Doe against members they suspect are involved with the Patriot Front. They have given me 6 days to comply. It is a civil case in federal court in North Dakota. They are requesting user data we don't have. So he says he doesn't have it, even though his whole thing is that he doesn't keep IP logs, but then repeatedly he's used IP logs to like dox Ethan Ralph and shit, basically. Due to data retention policies and public data available to literally anybody. It looks like a phishing attempt against users involved in the suit, and I have spent the morning on call with 30 lawyers in Colorado, Wyoming, and North Dakota to find someone to help me object to this. No help as of yet. Will definitely be costly. If any of you can help us with legal costs, please do at give.post.org. So, I'm not a lawyer, but I am, because I am a free speech man and my torch lights the way. I get subpoenas a lot. In fact, I usually get federal grand jury subpoenas a lot more than I get civil subpoenas. Just a nature of my business, I guess. I had a conversation with Hardin about this, and I asked, is it normal to receive more federal grand jury indictment subpoenas than it is to get like civil subpoenas? And he's like, no, it's not. it's really not. In fact, if a regular business gets a grand jury subpoena, they usually shit themselves. So it's like, okay, I occupy a different world than a lot of people, I suspect. So if you don't have any information, this is why Graf is like such a fucking weirdo, and it's like it's impossible to support him in any way. You received a subpoena for information you don't have, thereby which responding to the subpoena saying, "I under oath say I have none of this fucking information," is a valid response, and it costs $0 to do that. So if he has none of that information, why the fuck would he not just comply and say, "I don't have it"? That's all he has to do if he doesn't have it, truthfully. So I talked to Hardin about this. Very incidentally, Hardin is an attorney licensed directly as a lawyer in North Dakota. It has an interesting story to this. When he was a new attorney, there was a bunch of fracking going up in North Dakota that was being challenged in the courts. So a lot of lawyers were getting licensed in North Dakota, specifically so they could represent petroleum companies against like Indians and shit. So he ended up getting on the bar in North Dakota directly. So he is fully able to represent Graf in North Dakota. And I messaged him and I even said, like, look, if you want to reach out to Hardin, we might be able to do something in as USIPs, because Hardin's the secretary for USIPs, and it's possible that we might be able to give him legal assistance as a part of the foundation, as the society. And Hardin hasn't received a call, and I haven't received a reply. So this is what I think is happening, is that Graf hates us so much that I'm offering to deploy my attorney. Wait, hold up. No, I'm wrong. He actually did reply. Okay, I can't roast him as much as I wanted to. I think he might reach out to Hardin. In which case, me and Hardin discussed this. He posted the subpoena live on the site, and we looked over it, and we agree that the solution to this is a little bit straightforward. You know, if everything is above board as he says it is, it should be really straightforward. So I referred him to Hardin, and I offer my support if he wants to reach out to Hardin and employ the United States Internet Preservation Society in his defense. Well, we got some internet to preserve, chat. That's how it is. I'm not retracting shit. I've had issues with Graf, and I still do. And I have issues with a lot of people in the free speech sector. There are so many people who are approaching free speech, and they're doing it from this angle of like, it must be me, it must be my innovations and my technology and my brand and my site, my way. And it's like, look, the lefties, they don't got this fucking problem. They work on shit. They got that collectivism shit, okay? We got that individualistic shit where it's like, It has to be Gab AI and Gab.com, and I'm not going to Fediverse Gab unless the Fediverse does what I want it to, and then his way is like this other way, and it's just like there's zero collaboration whatsoever. Very, very little combining of resources. Everyone has this animosity, and it's fucking gay. And it's like, look, my torch shines the way. So I'm trying to say, I've got the best ideas. I've got the best resources. I've got the best providers. Okay, just listen to me. Just listen to me. I got this shit figured out. Okay. That gun pointed in my head for 13 years. I don't listen. If that gun stopped pointing at my head, I would feel lonely. I've given it a nickname. I've made friends for it. I have a birthday memorized for it. I have a birthday picked out for my gun pointed at my head. Okay, I got this shit, man. I got it all figured out. What's his name? Pete. All right. That's Gaff. I guess I can't. I decided very wisely. I decided to check to see if he had replied before saying he didn't reply and making fun of him a bit more. But I do have my issues. Okay, and in particular, I think that we had a big divide over Lolicon shit. I think Post has Lolicon on it. I don't. It's been so long, I can't remember. So don't quote me on that. But as I've said before, I have my big issues. I have my big issues with Lolicon. But my belief is that if we're going to do anything about Lolicon, it should be done through the Congress, and it should be done through the court system, and it should be done through the legal system, and it should not be done because private companies have an issue with it. That's my thought. Speaking of the undesirables, we have Vito Gesualdi. Now, Vito the pedo, as I like to refer to him, I actually hate him so fucking much, and I hate him even more and didn't know that was possible. All right, so Vito is at his house, and then A-Log decides to walk up to his house and poke fun at him. And this is how he looks. And as you can see, he's extremely bald and disgusting looking. However, I would like to point to something else, something out as well. So here he is, bald and disgusting. Okay. Does chat want to look at his shirt real quick? I don't know how old this guy is. I heard people say he's 52. I can believe that. I'm pretty sure he's at least late 30s or in his 40s. I see lots of people saying bald. Look down. I know the shining scalp is a bit shiny, but just look down. Do you guys see? In case you don't know, Vito Gesualdi is unmarried and he has no children. This is a picture. This is a candid photo of him being recorded at his house where he lives by himself. And he is dressed casually, as one might expect a person living alone at his own house might be, in a comfortable t-shirt of his choosing, which in this case, in case you're only listening, is Bluey merchandise. This fat fuck has voluntarily garbed himself in an XXXXL Bluey shirt with Bluey and Bingo holding hands, not holding hands, but they're playing Don't Step on the Crack, and they're just having fun walking down the sidewalk together. And this guy, who is between the ages of 32 and 50, I can't tell because he's so fat and old and bald, is wearing this shirt of his own choosing with no children to justify it whatsoever. And it really makes me wonder, why does this man have a Bluey shirt? Can someone explain to me? Can I fucking ask this fat fuck? Hold up. I'm going to ask this. How old is this guy? I keep saying 52 on the thread, but I don't think that's true. I really don't think that he's 52. There's no fucking way he's 52 years old. Because you can't live like this and reach the age of 52 and not blow your fucking brains out. Let's see. At Vito. Is it Gesualdi? That's Vito Comedy. I'll give him a nice little plug. Let's see, make sure I'm spelling this right. Christopher Gesualdi. Gesualdi at Vito Comedy. Why do you wear a Bluey shirt when you are unmarried, childless, and bald? And I'm gonna post this, and I'm gonna see if I get a response. I would love to know. I would love here. I'm gonna post what I posted, so you guys can see. I'm very curious. I would love to get a response. If Christopher Vito Giswaldi at Vito Comedy would like to tell me why the fuck he owns a Bluey shirt, I would love to fucking know. I got questions. I'm a journalist, according to the Supreme Court of the United States of America. I'm a fucking journalist, and I have a right to ask questions like, why the fuck are you wearing a Bluey shirt as an adult man with no kids? That's what I want to know. Why is he fat? I don't know. Oh, by the way, I don't know. Maybe I'll save it for the end. I have a plug for my diehard fans before the super chat segment. Okay. All right, that's that. If anyone has a question about the veto things, I don't know. I don't want to play it like the guy's going to his house fucking with him. I'm not going to play that. That's like, I'm not promoting that, but I gotta fucking know about the Bluey shirt. You know, I wouldn't have even mentioned this if it was just some guy going to Vito's house and fucking with him in person, because that's like not something I want to endorse or promote in any way. But the Bluey shirt got me slipping, chat. I gotta know. Do I weigh less than Vito? Yeah, by a lot. I would not be surprised if Vito's over 100 pounds heavier than I am at this point. Ralph is in El Salvador. He ended up at an airport and then was angrily tweeting about how nobody was there to pick him up. And then eventually he got picked up. And I haven't watched any of this, so let's just see. Oh, it's not timestamped. I thought those would be timestamped. Is this him at the house?
I don't need any more light. I'm a superstar. What are you talking about? We're ready to go. What do you mean? I'm ready to go. Why are you holding me back? What's going on? I'm ready to go. What is going on? I'm about to debut on they call it the Mexican fish tank. Well, you know what? It's about to be the Ralph Amel fish tank. And I'm finally here. I've been here actually for a minute, but they have to get some things straight and all that. I'm about to
Vito is 33. This guy is 33. He's 1 year older than me. Are you fucking for real? There's no fucking way. This guy. Wow, the wages of sin truly are death. You're speeding into an early fucking grave. That's crazy.
Live. They're going to pluck me in. I'm going to pluck myself in. I'm going to pluck something else in. Live on El Estanque.
Estanque. I don't know why. That sounds like stinky, but what the fuck does estanque? Does that mean tank? Is it like fish tank in Spanish? Estanque. Pond. So like fish tank, but okay. Estanque sounds like stinky, like El Stinky. That's what you would call gator if you were a blonde Puerto Rican. That's a good joke. That's why I'm a comedian, chat. It's a muscle I had to practice.
Hey, rape it, Ralph.
Fuck you, bitch.
Can't hide that gut, gringo.
Fuck you, nigger. All right.
That's cool.
Yeah, go ahead.
Already dropping the N-bomb. That's how you know he's serious business, chat. When you say the N-word, that means that you is cool. That's what I learned.
Shut up. Shout out to Kiwi Farms. Josh Moon one dish.
Josh Moon is a pedophile. Fuck you, nigger. All right, let's go there. Whatever. Josh Moon is a pedophile. He's trying to fuck 12-year-old girls. Okay.
Dude, every time people talk about the Blockland shit, I get older and they get younger. Eventually, I'm going to be a 50-year-old man in these stories when Blockland happened. I'm going after like 8-year-olds. Every fucking time it gets retold. By the way, he was friendly, but Ralph was friendly to me like a week ago, and I asked him for copies of the Gate Horror Game War anime review clips, and he said, "Cool, I can get." Wait, how do I do my Ralph voice? I forgot. It's been so long since Ralph has done anything relevant. I've completely forgotten my Ralph voice. Like, of course I can get you your anime reviews. And then someone told him that it was for. Oh, I haven't even plugged this yet. Holy shit. I'll save it. I got 2 things to plug. I'm actually I'm showing up on other people's podcasts again, chat. I'm showing up on other people's shit again. Next Ralph clip. I got into a fight.
You're in the
When did he get beer splashed on him? Oh, someone splashed. Okay, so he got splashed, and now he's confronting the shirtless guy, and they want to fight. Okay. When do they fight? Let them fight. Why the fuck would people watch El Stonke and then not want to see Ethan Ralph and this shirtless Cubano get fucked with? Fight! Fight! Oh, what the fuck? He was squaring up with the topless guy, and then the guy in the blue shirt who's also American said something he didn't like, so he just flips out at him instead, like out of nowhere. He like takes a sucker punch at him. Like, that guy's arms are down and everything. So Ralph, instead of going after the guy that's prepared to fight him and is shirtless and stuff, he just takes a swing sucker punch at the guy in the blue shirt.
Let's go through the confession, please. Oh my God. Kiwi Farms! Fuck this guy. Kiwi Farms.
How do they know about us? What is happening? Is Kiwi okay? So the fish tank's currently out of season after they got demolished by the state of Massachusetts or whatever. So now the Kiwi Farms people are watching like the knockoffs. There's 2 knockoffs that I'm aware of. There is one where the contestants are physically locked into a commie block in Ukraine by like a organized crime unit. And I forget what that's called. It's called like the Cube or something. But that one is like bad, where they're like actually torturing contestants. Because it's like a prison for destitute people that are addicted to coke in Ukraine. Slav tank is what they call it. The square hut. Yeah, if you want to see like people like torture each other, you can watch Slav Tank, aka the Square Hut. That has its own little cult following on the Kiwi Farms. It is legit. It's like Ukrainians locked up in an apartment with like bars on the fucking doors that they can't get out of. And supposedly it's operated by like an actual criminal in Ukraine. So that shit's scary. I don't even want to talk about that. The other one is El Stinky, which is in El Salvador, and surprisingly, that's the one that's less scary. That Ralph is on, supposedly. And they each have little followings that are currently taking place in the fish tank thread. There's some discussion that they should get their own thread or whatever, but I don't know. It's just it'll have to get its own thread if the fish tank comes back and their seasons start to overlap. But right now they're content to be in the fish tank chat and talk about the El Stinky as well. So I don't know. Maybe the Kiwi Farms is El Stinky's biggest fan group at the moment. Well, that's just the shout out. Okay, so here's where I get to make the plug. Okay. So Gator, despite being called out for his uh-oh stinky, he is still doing the uh-oh stinky thing. Here we have Mint Fantome. You have to say, oh no, my Oshi. This is your Oshi. She did posted a picture about sniff inspection. Now this, for whatever reason, has 20,000 likes by 250,000 viewers. So I don't know what the fuck is wrong with anime people. But Gator says, well, no, wait, stop, don't do it. That's because he's stinky. And he doesn't want his Oshi to see how stinky he is. If his Oshi were to lean forward enough and smell the Gator Game War, the rancid, putrid sweat of the Gator Game War would fill her anime nostrils, which is ironic because anime people don't have noses for some reason. So he begs her not to smell him, which is an extremely strange interaction for an adult man older than me, as old as Ethan Ralph, not to have on the internet. Then he's replying to the Dragon's Tea. They're talking about gamer sups. If you happen to have watched that Jim interview with Kasha, they talked about how much money Kasha makes doing gamer supplement partnerships and how that is totally based, and everyone's jealous of her because she makes so much money doing supplements. Gator is talking about the supplements and said, I've tried other supplement drinks before, but gamer sups blows them away. Flavors are very nice. My personal recommendations are Anime Girl Thighs, Bowberry, and Goof Juice. Seth Tiger asks, how's titty milk? And Gator says, it was good. I haven't tried a flavor I didn't like so far. This is an unironic conversation. This sounds like something I would come up with as a joke, but this is real anime people talking about supplements together. So here we have pictures of it. This is titty milk, caffeine free, 100 servings, and it has like anime manga panels on it as branding. Here's the supplement facts. It's got vitamin C, vitamin D3, vitamin B6, vitamin B12, vitamin H as biotin, and then a nootropic called NGGR. So Ngr nootropic blend proprietary. So the Gator Game More is literally taking a multivitamin drink that has nootropics in it that are made by a company called Gamersup selling anime titty caffeine-free supplements. Now, if this sounds interesting to you, and by the way, this is what the bottles look like, the branding. If this sounds interesting to you, I will be talking more about the Gator Game More on the Kino Casino tomorrow. I don't know if they've announced the time. I think it's at 3 p.m. on Saturday. I'll have to double check. I haven't looked, but we're going to go through Gator's entire history to discuss because he's graduating and the Gator Gamer content is ending forever and ever because he's definitely leaving for real. We're going to go through everything that we can find about him. I have tasked them both with watching an episode of the Anime Boomers podcast and taking notes. And they have like put together a serious like repertoire of Gator knowledge. And they've actually done more research than I have, which I find shocking. So we have a lot to talk about. The gamer Gator lore is deep and filled with many twists and turns, many interesting facets that individually are not too interesting. But when you take this guy as a whole, as a sum of his parts, is actually kind of like, what the fuck? So, no, it is on the 26th at 3 p.m., I think. Let me double check. Let me check Andy Worski's Twitter. I think that's where it was announced. I know this because I know they announced it because a lot of people are angry at me. I'm supposed to hate Andy Worski right now, but I'm intentionally going out of my way to learn absolutely nothing about why people are upset. And that, of course, also makes them upset because I have to do what they say all the time. Otherwise, I'm sweeping it up. Where the fuck is the announcement at? Maybe it's on PPP. Power of Truth. That's him. Oh, I thought they announced it. Oh, no, I can't find it. I think it's the 26th at 3. I think that's what we agreed on. If I'm wrong, I'll post an update on Twitter or whatever the fuck. But that's the general plan right now. And then, before I go into any other thing, I actually have another announcement related to an appearance. I will be helping somebody debut the first episode of their podcast. This is a guy I'm not too familiar with, and my initial investigations is that he's crazy, but in a way that I think a lot of people would find endearing. He's not a VTuber. I am helping Kurt Metzger do his first episode of his own podcast that he's launching. And I think that will be on Monday at 6 p.m. No, 3 p.m. on Monday. So 3 p.m. on Monday. So Kurt Metzger apparently has brought me up on several different streams in the Kiwi Farms. I've watched his podcast. He is a very eccentric person. He's right up my alley. And he's doing his own podcast launch, and I apparently will be episode number 1. So I honestly don't know what I'm getting into, but multiple people said like, bro, you gotta do it. So I don't know. I gotta do it. Kurt Metzger. And then I open his Twitter profile. He has 140,000 followers, and he says, new 30-minute special out on. No, that's an outdated thing. He's very active on Twitter though. So he was on some guy, I think it was on the James Dillon podcast, where he brought up Kiwi Farms and me in particular because he was talking about payment processors or something. So I don't know. I had no idea what I'm getting myself into, but we're gonna have fun on the internet chat. I told you guys I'll be doing more appearances. I'll be venturing forward out of my comfort zone because I gotta save the internet. My torch will light the way, chat. Jimmy Dore. That's what I meant. Sorry. As I said, I don't know what I'm getting into, so maybe I'll regret both of these by the end of the week. Maybe I won't. So I don't know. I'm gonna venture forward into the brave unknown. Let's see. Not Tom Metzger, Kurt Metzger. It'll be great. Okay. I'm getting some positive feedback. I'm happy. I'm a little bit nervous. I know my audience is very, very protective of me. And they tell me every time I say I'm thinking of talking to this guy, I get a very detailed email about how he raped a gorilla, how he went through a nasty divorce where his wife alleged that he threw dog shit at her or something. It's always some shit. It's just like, look, I gotta talk to somebody at some point, okay? Okay. I think that is it in terms of that. Okay. I think that's it. Yeah. All right. That's it. So let's do the Superberry segment, chat, as it were. I'll make the background green. As always, if you would like to support the podcast, matt@theinternet.locals.com. You can find the link on maddie.live. I do appreciate it. The stable income helps me calculate how much ammunition I can buy per month. All right. He was on the Adam Friesland show. Yeah, I got brought up on the Adam Friesland show because he's been doing rounds, I guess, to promote his podcast or something that he's doing. So he's been doing rounds talking about weird stuff, and I've been getting brought up by him. So he definitely wants to talk. And then, I don't know. We'll see what happens from there. I like to do more video game stuff, and I like to talk to more people and see what can be done about the current momentum. I've tried to reach out to a couple other really big YouTubers in regards to payment processors. I didn't mention this during the stream, but a bunch of YouTubers have come out talking about, they did like the slop react channels did their runs, and I've reached out to them and tried to say like, look, I know what I'm talking about, and try to get some content. Oh, I don't have a Reddit segment. You're right. Did I not get a let's see if I can find one in the Matt the Internet thread real quick. Let's see. No. Do not see a Reddit segment. God. No, I don't think so, unfortunately. I think I ranted about I could mention just in brief that Rucka Ali has, despite my goodwill towards him, has randomly decided that he is going to put out a meme coin and then rug pull people for reasons unbeknownst to me. Okay, I don't see a resume. Sorry. I did not plan far enough ahead, I guess. All right. Let's start reading these. Amber for 10 says, "Hey Josh, longtime VOD viewer and a VOD viewer I will remain. I can never catch a stream. Decided to support the show that entertained me for over the last 5 years. One of the most consistent things in my life. Stay tuned in this strange place. Stay safe in this strange place, Amber. Thank you. I'm sorry I fucked up your super chat 20 different times, but I appreciate it. There is also, I'll remind everybody, there's matttheinternet.locals.com. That also works. But I guess if you're doing Monero, you don't want to do that. So thank you. Total Annihilation for a 1728, very specific. I'm drinking during night before stream, but I've lost 35 pounds while dieting, healthy eating, and exercise in 3 months. You inspired me to celebrate. Here's a hamster. Oh boy, I'm inspiring people. Oh no. Yeah. Oh no. What do I do? It's very cute. Thank you. Kurt Eichenwald, anime masturbator for 10, says, glorious Kiwi Emperor, anime boomers? More like anime coomers, am I right? Haha, looking forward to Saturday. Ignore my name, it's meant to be ironic. Parentheses, no it isn't. Very convoluted message with many twists and turns, but yes, it'll be Saturday. I'm not sure what time, but I'll figure that out. I'll figure out my own schedule at some point. Thank you. Red Eyes Black Dragon for 10 says, Josh takes a big L and then links to a YouTube video. Rugrats, Angelica versus Josh.
Tell you what, I'll make you a deal. We'll split the babies 50-50. Who gets the heads? No, I mean, you take 2 babies and I'll take 2 babies.
That's a really funny and dark joke for a kid's show.
Babies couldn't be more fair than that. No way. I came here to get these babies and I'm not leaving till I get them all. Oh, yeah? Yeah. Oh, yeah? Yeah. Oh, yeah? Yeah. Oh.
This just... It just goes to show you that violence solves everything. They're trying to cut babies in half, you just push them over. Giant Kazaki for 5 says, currently converting my tax return to beer, usually too broke living on autism bucks, but definitely owe you a 5+ for the years of entertainment. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Congratulations on your tax return. Porglack, you got the money back that you earned. Isn't that nice of them? Porglack for 5 says, I know you had a good theory on Visa MasterCard enforcing the law of the last stream, but have you considered my schizo opinion that they want to start a violent Gooner uprising so they can't be put down? So they can be put down. I don't think that's what's happening. I think that they would be more than happy to let anime Gooners buy child porn with MasterCards as long as they made their money, but they got to stay in business first. Romberger says, try Kiwi Farms organic bee jams harvested from the freshest gorilla nest daily. Tests so good, it'll make you say, bee jams. Thank you. Logistical Nightmare for 10 says, I can't wait for the inevitable Josh on Joe Rogan podcast. So I have to explain to my boss what the hell a racist cheese lover is. Yeah, man, that's a possibility. That's why I gotta get fit so that when I'm next to Joe Rogan, I don't look like a misshapen blob. I talk about bears with him or whatever. So, like, I did DMT in the South African forest, and there was, like, a bear. And, like, the bear came up to me and was like, did you know that payment processors, like, process 10% of the entire world's GDP, but, like, they're not accountable to anybody? And that's how I knew, man. I think Joe Rogan, I think that kind of down-to-earth talking would really inspire him to, and his audience as well. I'm not going to exercise and do weights until I'm down, man. It's just not happening. It's on the cards. Banana Plugs for 5 says, happy pizza day, Josh. You're my favorite nonstop always. What's up, dude? Feeling good. I am feeling good. I'm feeling better now. That Bossman Jack segment really helped pull myself out of the it happens in real time. You can see it. You start dwelling on all the things you hate and you're just like, man, I'm so full of fucking piss and vinegar and I hate this shit. But then you watch a little Gamba sesh and it all feels right. Awaken 34 for 2 says, just wanted to say hello and that I am getting Chinese takeout for lunch because I have no time for something else. What did you have for lunch if you haven't yet? Well, I start my stream at 12, so I don't get to eat because I'm not Hassan Piker. But I had leftover. It's kind of like, it's just a tomato sauce. It's like something I threw together. It's like tomato sauce and butter beans and spinach and a little bit of Parmesan on it. And then I just eat that, and that's very low calorie. So that's what I had for kind of a brunch. You listening for 2 says, rip the Hulkster, he's suplexing in heaven now. It's true, he is. They send him down to hell so we can wrestle with the demons, and he always wins because he's a real American. Banana Plugs for 10 says, first time I'm asking for a YouTube link, but it's one of the few times AI slop is great. Okay. Army, okay, let's see. Draft for World War III in the hood. Okay.
Yo, what the fuck you want, white boy? Well, it's World War III and we need our young men. Nah, man, get the fuck out of my face. Who the fuck is you? Listen, man, it's World War III. I don't give a fuck. Y'all still owe me reparations. Hello, sir. You've been drafted to fight China with us. Nah, I'm good. Hi, ma'am. I need to recruit your sons to war.
All my sons are in jail, so fuck off!
Hello, sir. Yeah, never mind. I'm about to rob your bitch ass. What you want, Lil Jimmy?
We're giving away free Hellcats. Just gotta join the war.
Shit, sign me up. World War III is here and we need... Oh. Hey there, can I speak with your dad?
I don't have a dad.
Oh.
Jessica?
Oh my gosh, Brad!
Well, hey,
I want a divorce.
Suffer.
Hello,
Look, that's
sir.
only that's only funny because he's in the military, and therefore it's automatically true.
Well, you're an odd little aren't you? Hey, sir, you've been drafted. All right, you know what? Fuck this shit.
Is that a gorilla nest in there? I think it is. Thank you. TV Deluxe for 5 says, Josh, what time do you go to sleep? I see you zeeting at 3 a.m. when you have work at noon. Also, what is the current alarm clock song? It's still wake up, you need to make money. Yeah, I get to bed pretty late. I'm trying to wind it back. I was staying all the way up until 5, but now I get to bed at like 3. I have to fix my sleep schedule. Dude, I completely fucked up everything. I'm drinking too much caffeine again, and I'm staying up way too late, and it's just a whole fucking ordeal, man. At least I'm back on the wagon, as it were. Awaken 34 for 2 says, also losing both Hulk Hogan and Ozzy Osbourne in the same week is just depressing. Well, thankfully I have no strong emotional ties to celebrities, so I'm never impacted by any of this shit. Angel Vomit for 10 says, hi friends, can't wait to watch live, but wanted to say, or can't watch live, but wanted to say hello and have a good stream. Also, Josh, do you listen to the Reverend Horton Heat? I do not, sorry. Thank you. The Ice Cream Man for 5 says, your mic sounds like a guy who was late to his stream. It sounds fine otherwise. I know this will be a banger as always. Let's fucking go. Thank you. Hopefully it was a banger. Unkind Naysayer for 5 says, Ethan Ralph Rodriguez did not last long in El Fish Tanko. Didn't even last 48 hours before rage picking out and assaulting someone. Oink, oink, Ethan O. I think he's still there, though. I think the other guy left, but he's still there. Awaken 1 for Awaken 34 for 1 says, quick question, Fo. You remember the name of the video that was explaining why Back for Blood sucked? Yes, it is... Back for Blood proves Valve carried Left 4 Dead. That is the name of it, by Crowbcat. Humble Guardsman for 3 says, there can be no bystanders in the battle for survival. Anyone who will not fight by your side is your enemy. You must crush. The Emperor protects. Technically speaking, it's about 10 to 15% of the population that actually gives a fuck about any conflict. Red Eyes Black Dragon for 2 says, Boogie is still alive, by the way. So I heard it's his birthday. Euclid Sneed for 1 says, Ozzy was so fucked up he thought the bat was rubber. He made good music, but his was brain dead. Yeah, I mean, if you ever listen to a musician do an interview, they almost always sound completely fucking retarded, because I'm sure they melt their brains on crack. The Uncredited for 1 says, you get $1 from me, no more. Thank you. I have to say that sadly then. The Uncredited for $1. Space Allen for 50 says, Ham Jam. Thank you, Space Allen, very much. I appreciate it. Lanthea for 10 says, thanks, Jersh, Orthodox emoji, Ham Jam. Thank you. Doc Sound for 5 says, I haven't worked at a restaurant in 20 years, but my alarm from Maddie went off. I was having that dream where I was working there again. I was wearing a Hardened Cisco hoodie. Thank you for rescuing me. You're very welcome. I never have dreams about working at fast food. I have very strange dreams, and a lot of them are about zombies. I think I've died in more dreams than most people. If that thing was true about if you die in a dream, you die in real life, I would be dead like 1,000 times over. I always die in dreams. Breadwash for 5 says, just discovered my new hatred for New York City. It's fat British tourists that block everyone trying to recharge their subway passes. Got to dodge their yellow buck teeth while sidestepping the tunnel Junos. Dude, I would not go to New York City. I have no interest in going to New York City whatsoever. The Ice Cream Man for 5 says, Destiny X Trump sex tape arc win. I don't know. Who would be the bottom? I think, Destiny, of course. He likes sucking dick. Sneeda Stanny for 5 says, sometimes I watch old Bungie videos or vid docs about the original Halo trilogy. It makes me sad to know just how far we fell. They had legitimate passion for making their games, and now it's all just gone. Yeah. the money is just not there. Like back in the day, you know, you had to hire people who knew computers. The people that knew computers were people who were passionate about computers. And now it's just like, hello, my good sirs. Thank you for taking our boot camp. If you follow this course, you will receive a degree that allows you to become an H-1B visa recipient in the United States of America. Today we'll be learning JavaScript. JavaScript is a very popular language. And then it's just like, that's it. That's who gets hired to make these fucking games. And they don't give a shit. They don't have the intellectual capacity to give a fuck about literally anything. They're completely useless. And like, you know, it's like those phone games. You see advertisements for them all the time. It's like all these slop games, especially the ones targeted for kids. And you just look at like the pictures of the games. And it's just like nobody involved in the production of this game for the youngest people gave a shit. It's just an excuse to put ads on the game so that little fat clumsy child fingers will click advertisements. And it's like, it's literally just a vehicle to serve advertisements and trick kids into clicking ads. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about making a quality product anymore. Not a single fucking person across the entire planet gives a fuck about making anything that they're proud of. It does not exist. The super cool heavy duty shit made in a factory in China, Sig Sauer striking plates, they're made in India and they get dumped into the same bucket regardless of size. The apps that all the little kids are playing on their tablet, all the tablet babies, made by sea monkeys in Malaysia to serve advertisements to people and to collect subscriptions from the parents they don't even know that they bought because it's a one-click subscribe thing. It's like there's such a vacuum for talent being rewarded, which is why anybody who does anything interesting that is like actually, you know, has thought and care put into it becomes like a smash hit. That Five Nights at Freddy's guy makes a horror game for kids that he actually, you know, he made. If you ever watched the Jim Sterling video about the Five Nights at Freddy's guy, he made a video game and Jim Sterling basically bashed it and said, you know, these characters, because it was supposed to be like a kid's game that was cute. And Jim said, you know, these characters are fucking creepy. Like they look like creepy animatronics and shit. So the guy took the game, that feedback, and he made a horror game from it. And because he was actually trying to make a good game, it became a phenomenon that earned him hundreds of millions of dollars. And then you have that guy that made Undertale, Toby Fox. His music and shit in that, and like the amount of what really sells Undertale is not the boring ass fight mechanics. It's how almost everything is an Easter egg. There's like 10 million fucking Easter eggs in that game. And if you think of something in Undertale, Toby Fox already thought of it and made like an Easter egg for it. And that's what people care about because it shows that the guy actually thought about how the player experience is and he put thought into details, and attention to detail and music is like the soul of any kind of commercial art piece. And that's why little simple things like that becomes smash hit phenomenon, because the 10 million Pajeets and Chinamen working on Call of Duty Black Ops 27, where you are literally Kim Kardashian, like in booty shorts, shooting zombies. Like that is negative soul. You lose soul and vril playing something that fucking shitty. And then everything else looks a million times better by comparison. Absolute Tree Fitty for one says oh my god, you've killed me. About Tree Fitty 01 for 4 says about Tree Fitty 01. Fuck you. The Ice Cream Man for 5 says, never thought I'd see an NPR article at my internet retard variety, lowercase I internet retard variety show. This is truly the best timeline. Well, they're defunded now, so I'm happy. Crispy Legs for 10 says, happy Friday, party emoji. Thank you. I'm very happy that it's Friday and I finally get to eat something. Citrus for everyone says, it makes my blood boil that brown foreigners are allowed to own real estate in the West. It makes our costs skyrocket, along with them even renting properties set aside for them. I totally agree. There's no reason why someone who's not a permanent resident of this country should ever own anything. No land, no property, nothing. If you are not a permanent resident, you should not be allowed to you shouldn't be allowed to rent. Why the fuck are renters allowed to rent to people who aren't here legally? Never mind owning shit. Literally just steal all the Chinese and Saudi Arabian farmland and just give it to people. We'll do another Frontier Act. We'll just steal the Chinese and Saudi Arabian land. Like, you want to, if you have like any kind of agricultural experience, we'll just give you 20 acres in Nebraska. Drewby82 for 2 says, morning, Josh. Is there anything that really hits you in the nostalgia above all else? I mean, RuneScape Classic does. That's pretty fucking nostalgic for me. Neopets was another game that I played as a little kid. Yeah, RuneScape is, because if I played modern RuneScape, I'll just think like, RuneScape Classic, this was different. This was different when it first came out. I think like that kind of stuff. Fatty Caddy for 2 says, sure, you can get a house for 70K. Just be prepared for trash finishes, lots of issues, no yard, and be surrounded by criminal browns. My favorite part of this program is the racism. Thank you. Fatty Caddy for 2 says, please eat Gator's heart tomorrow, and if Tartsy tries to pedo guard like he did with Flam, please eat his too. Well, heart is always on the menu. Fatty Caddy for 5 says, great donation. Thank you. Fentard for 2 says, come to Funland. People pretty much give houses for free in the north because no one wants to live in the small towns, or they just inherited the house from relatives and want to get rid of it. Sure, you might have to do small renovations, but it's almost free. So you're telling me I can live in Finnmark for basically nothing? The issue is that you guys are going to get invaded by Russia. That's what I've been told by the media. You probably also have to learn Finnish, which I think is probably the hardest thing to accomplish in the entire world because you have a nonsense language. I don't know. If you want to move to Finland, the Great White North, you can move to Finland and apparently get cheap housing up north. Quality Dante for 20 says, your simping record is exemplary, Josh, but I see you use the word holes as an insult once. Negative 1,000 good boy points. Your request for a croom has been denied. Political essay disregarded. It does feel like that sometimes, huh? You always have to stay, I don't know. It's very frustrating. You know what's funny is that with the women in particular, I didn't even mention this, but I pitched something about doing a women's only app and having to do like real ID verification. And a bunch of people told me that they would never do real ID verification to prove that they were women for like a women's only app. And I just gave up on the idea. And because a lot of people got angry at me and they're like, oh, you're just trying to like be like a fake ally and you're just trying to like dox women or whatever, or try to like find like a wife. I'm like, okay, I mean, if I'm going to attract controversy by positing the idea, I guess I won't do it. And then somebody did make an app with that exact premise that you use real ID verification to prove who you are. And because it was made by idiots, they stored all those ID verifications on an open S3 bucket that you could just access like any open file server. And so all the IDs of all the members have been leaked because they're just in that bucket. And it's like, if I had made the fucking app, I would have definitely spent more attention to detail to make sure that shit's not possible. So like, I don't know. I lost the money. And I lost, and people got fucked over because they didn't know what they were doing. My torch lights the way. The Ice Cream Man for 10 says, your attempts to shed light on this issue give me a lot of ammo in my arguments with relatives. It's hard to refute the idea that true unaccountability lies with these payment assholes. Thank you. I'm happy to help. I will continue to scream about this issue until I can accept payments from anybody I like. Gosh Kanazi for 10 says, late and gay, but Sam Hyde table flip was cringe. He admitted to taking TRT on his podcast. I'm sure that cooked his brain. He was always a fag, but used to be a funny fag. Now an alpha male influencer. It does feel that way, doesn't it? Where, I don't know. I guess in the most favorable interpretation, you can just say that like he recognizes that there are the lost boys out there, and it's better him than like Andrew Tate, I suppose, but I don't know. I don't know enough about their philosophy to really say. I mean, I guess he's more pro-white, which I appreciate, but like the issue, and I'll just dive in because I'm already talking about women's shit anyways. I'll just hit this real quick. The issue is folk ohne Kinder, folk ohne Zukunft. If you do not have kids, you do not have a movement. And people like Sam Hyde and Nick Fuentes are repulsive to women. And if you don't have any kind of space for women in your movement is going to die. Not only folk ohne Junge, folk ohne Zukunft, Politika ohne Frau, Politika ohne Zukunft. Okay? You need men are simpletons. They're gorillas. They flip over tables and make gorilla nests. If they are not being promised sex, they're not going to be interested in something. So if you want to have a viable political movement that truly rallies people to join your side and invest what could possibly be their lives into it, because as you can see with the Patriot Front, people are going after them and trying to ruin them over it. So it is risky to join a openly fascist organization. There has to be pussy in it. That's it. That's the only way you're going to get men to actually dedicate themselves. And unless you only want to covet homosexuals who watch Fight Club and close their eyes when they were having sex with Marla Singer. If that's your idea of who you want in your movement, then just have no woman in it and be gay. But if you want to attract women, you have to actually accommodate them in some way, which is what the NSDAP did when it rose to power with 80% of the female vote. You have to find some way to accommodate a woman into your fucking movement. You can't say that they're rape sows to be raped and bred like fucking animals, because guess what? No woman is going to join a movement that says you're a fucking retard, you shouldn't be allowed to vote, you should have no bodily autonomy, and we should be allowed to rape you. When by the way, I saw a statistic about how in the last 6 months, the difference between young men and young women in regards to liberal v conservative has swung very wide. And it's like, do you know what happened in the last few months? Do you guys remember Nick Fuentes starting the Your Body, My Choice thing that went viral on TikTok, and people started doing that in person? Imagine what's going to happen to the psyche of a 16-year-old girl when she walks down the hallway of her high school and there is a group of boys wearing Make America Great Again hats pointing at her and saying, "Your body, my choice." Do you think she's going to vote Republican? Do you think that Nick Fuentes has added more votes or fewer votes to the electorate for the conservative movement going forward? Like, you have to be a fucking retard to think that that kind of thing is beneficial to the gender gap or whatever. When you're telling people you're going to rape them, they don't vote for you. And it's just so frustrating because it's like nobody wants to join a movement where a homosexual Mexican threatening to rape women and a guy that actually did butt fuck a 16-year-old and then cried about getting shit on his dick. Guess what, Sam? When you stick your dick in a 16-year-old girl's butthole because you saw it in your pornos and you get shit on your dick, that's your fault. Guess what lives in the butthole? That's poo. Poo lives there. Poo lives in the butthole. If you go to India and you step in shit, you can't be like, "Oh no, I'm a victim of circumstance. I stepped in shit." No, you idiot. You went to India. Poo lives there. Girl butthole, also where poo lives. That's why you got shit on your dick, Sam. So it's like nobody can take that seriously. That's fucking psychotic. These people are fucking psychotic and they're stupid and they're poisoning people, because anytime you mention anything, you get replies like, "If we repealed the 19th, this wouldn't happen." Well, guess what? You're not going to repeal the 19th. It's not going to fucking happen. And you're not going to get enough young men to join a militia to overthrow the government to repeal the 19th either. You know why? Because there's no pussy in the fuck women militia that Nick Fuentes runs. So no young man's going to join it. So you can say it's women's fault and you can be very angry about this and you can chant "Your body, my choice" and you can be a fucking gorilla and make a gorilla nest, but you're never going to find the necessary manpower to make a movement that repeals the 19th when your movement has Oni Zulkamp. Okay? That's how it works. So my solution to anyone young and politically viable who's trying to figure out some kind of ideological consistent framework to make a militia movement around, there are women out there who want men who are not into pornography, who want to have families, and who want to provide security for their families. But you have to find a way to integrate these people into your movement, and threatening to rape them and blaming them for every problem in this country is not the way to do it. So that's the concise explanation for this. And that's why Nick Fuentes is a fucking failure who hasn't grown his movement in 4 fucking years after January 6th, because he's been castigated as an asexual cuckold. And Sam Hyde's never going to do much more than flex and make gorilla necks because of Markey. And he can't address Markey because it's potentially a federal crime that he could be on the hook for if he came out and said that he did it. So if you're a young man coming of age and you want to make a podcast about fascism, keep that in mind, because the current options are not going to be successful in their endeavors. Tex and Mara for one says Air Force should have gone with the 19X. They should have gone with the I don't know what that is. I have no opinion on this, to be honest. Bentard for 2 says, next time you get into a Twitter argument with a neighbor, post this, and there's a catbox file. You know my rule, but you are Fentard, so you get a pass. Assuming it loads, which I don't think it is. Gump for 5 says, it's not about your pistol fits your hand. It's about if you get a good grip while shooting with a proper G19. I need a concealed carry, bro. That's why I got a smaller gun. I've had a bigger gun. I have a bigger gun. It's unwieldy to fire. Okay, the video finally loaded. I think that's from Spaceballs, but yes, very relatable. Amir Al Quesadilla Ibn Fihita, which is somehow a name I pronounce correctly every time. I don't know what that says about me. Hey Josh, I don't know if you saw or not, but Asmongold went a TTD level rant against payment processors. Enjoy the pizza day. I've heard, and I have reached out to him. He's one of the people I've reached out to. I would love to talk to him, obviously, but it is what it is. Okay. Little baby child for 5 says, here you go, chonky buddy. Have a slice of cauliflower pizza on me. No fucking shit, I'm getting cauliflower. Come the fuck on. What I do is I budget it. So if I overeat one day, I just push my calories to a different day and eat less that day. So there are some days like, it was 4th of July. I ate a bunch of apple pie with ice cream. I had to cut for 2 weeks to balance that budget sheet. I was like a VShojo accountant trying to figure out how to make ends meet. Like, the candle budget. The candle budget. How do I survive? The Ice Cream Man for 10 says, Josh, don't get it twisted. Your success is our success, stalker child. Enjoy health. Yeah, fucking right. Steam Feeded for 2 says, if you get sick of Jeet tech support scammer, wait until you encounter the real ad hoc Jeet tech support contracted by the corp. Never want to punch something through the monitor that bad. Yeah, dude. Oh, don't get me started. I hate talking to them. I hate seeing them in person. I hate it when someone with the name Neil Mahan, Vanish, Jahir, Mashad, Octavius, Banan, Bahabatapat, Majapahit, it has any power or control or influence or anything I fucking do. It's like, you don't fucking belong in this country. Who the fuck decided that you get to have any say over what happens to me? You don't belong here. And you're in your position of power over anything in my life? And that's real life, and I just have to accept this? Nah, buddy, we're sending you back. I don't give a fuck. You have anchor babies. We're ripping up their passports. You can't do that. My baby will be stateless if you burn her passport. Sorry, it's all gone already. She's stateless. You gotta petition your government in India for a new passport because she's stateless. There's no record of live birth. It's on the bonfire. Outside of every Department of State building in every state, we're taking all the birth certificates with names I can't fucking pronounce, and we're burning them in a giant fire. There's no record of you. There's no record of your wife. There's no record of your daughter. Stateless. Stateless. Octavia sales rep pretend says, jokes on you, Josh. I'd still smooch you even if you were still chubby. That's gay. Thank you. Saxon Bear for 1 says, Destiny is all the proof we need that Jews can't be trusted to work with assholes. Why? Destiny's not Jewish. Are you talking about Dan? I don't know what you're talking about. Girlfriend Haver for 5 says, in-game anti-Semitism is having a Jewish doctor, Jewish lawyer, and a kosher diet because it's all you know. It does seem like that sometimes, doesn't it? The president of Nintendo for 5 says, congratulations on your wait list, Josh. Glad all the guidance I've given you is finally paying off. No need to thank me. Don't worry, I won't. The Ice Cream Man for 10 says, bro, just live, get swole as hell, and attract every girl cap. That's not my intention. Cronky K for 5 says, words of wisdom, and there's a cat box file, but whatever. While that loads, John Doe Darius for 5 says, 12 out of 10 stream, fuck human processor, sending letters to my representative's base. Just see them. Just write your representative, say, fuck you, fuck Visa card, fuck MasterCard, fix this shit, you fucking faggot. Something along those lines. Asian Tech Support for 10 says, those metal eagle cans with the hone nozzle things are airtight, are all right. We use those at work. Your video is not loading, by the way. Stop using Catbox. It sucks ass. Saxon Bear, thank you, by the way. Saxon Bear for 1 says, Josh, you can get a conversion kit to give your gas can an actual vent and a good cap plus like $10 on Amazon. I mean,
and don't get the fat guy. And don't get the fat guy.
I don't get it. I don't know what that means. If I'm gonna spend $10, I'm not gonna fucking puncture a hole in my gas can. I'm just gonna buy a good one. David S877 for 25 says, have some money, maybe don't spend it all on cheese this time, too late. I'm already retroactively putting your money towards cheese that I already bought. Thank you. The Ice Cream Man for 50 says, have some money, spend it all on cheese, all of it, don't you worry. I have. I'll put that aside. Thank you, thank you. By the way, madhatter.locals.com, support my cheese addiction. Verdier, thank you. Verdier for 5 says, VTubing has a lot of overhead. They're all anime characters, so their heads are huge. I think I did the math once, and I found out that all their bodies are like... Their heads are like a quarter of their entire body size for some reason. Something really weird about that. Ron says, ooh, a piece of candy. 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 And then box falls on Josh. Not quite. I'm not that gullible. Citrus Addict for once says, this wrestling shit is 100% mid-2000s anime convention behavior. If we can tell you like anime, Doctor Who, Rick and Morty, any other cringe fandom via your unrelated doings, you're beyond saving. True. Unkind Naysayer for 2 says, so when is Kid Bandit going to split in half from the bottom up trying to be a wrestler? There's no way it won't cause complications or rip sutures or whatever eventually. He got snipped, right? I mean, based on the level of physical activity that I saw, I don't think either of them are in risk of herniating anything, my dude. Bot or not for 20 says, hey Josh, hope you were having a good week. While delivering hay to Montana this week, I saw about 25 No Kings protesters in Havre. What a useless place to protest a president. I mean, I saw some of them too, not recently, but like, I don't know. It's just like cringe. Cringe. Die already, boomers. Drop fucking dead. Thank you. Black Star Sneed for 10 says, here's what should be done about the Kid Bandit and wrestling. And there's a YouTube link. Also, I went to 9 Inch Nails concert in the current tour and some homo was yelling Free Palestine. Sucks to be them. I think that the current Israeli plan is to kill them all by starvation. So it will not be being freed is what I'm trying to say. I'm letting that load, but it's taking a while. Citrus Egg for 5 says, finally, after all this time, I can finally know why Josh threw a fit when we started bean posting in the Sneed Court. I legit had no fucking clue. And then there is a link that's also loading. I think it was just annoying. Like, I just didn't like it. The Ice Cream Man for 10 says, God, that video is satisfying. Mad Fatter is probably the most annoying retard on the planet. Yes, he is. He's extremely obnoxious and smug and not funny or interesting in any way, shape, or form. He's like pure insipid bile, basically. Thank you. Pancake Luchador for 5 says, hey Josh, I just got a shift making that cheddar. Have some extra dough for your pizza day and have a good one. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Ballistic Characteristic for 10 says, great stream. Have a nice weekend. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Yachts for 4 says, cheers, my neighbor. Thank you, Yachts. I appreciate it. Hickey Slick for $69 has been watching your old streams, and I like how you always explain things for those of us in the distant future of 2026. Never appreciated it before, but it adds a lot to rewatches. It's why I do it, and I do it because I watch a lot of stuff that's like old, and if you don't have context for what's going on, it really detracts from the value of it. So if I ever feel like what I'm talking about needs context to be understood out of context, I will dip into that. But obviously I don't do that for like Ethan Ralph unless it's something like a really weird throwback. But thank you. Okay, this video loaded, I think.
No, don't do it! Don't do it! It's not worth it! It's not worth it! Someone call 911! Someone call 911! Someone call 911!
Is he okay? He's dead. They're both dead. There's no way. Is this like a skit? Would you not just die? Yeah, that's fucked up. That's like too dangerous to be like entertaining because it's like you could die from doing that, bro. About Tree Fitty for 5 says, Josh, do you even know what rolled roofing is? No, I do not. Sorry. Hickey Slick for 69. Oh, wait, did you send this twice? Why did it get put in? Oh, no, it just got put in twice. Chloe Dante for 20 says, if Graf got a subpoena, he would piss his pants not out of fear, but because he's drunk again. That's mean. Thank you. Citrus Attack for 1 says, Bluey and Paw Patrol graphic tees are popular among in real life pedos who like their victims to be under the age of about 8. I've observed it and spoken with other women about it. That's concerning. Citrus for one says, it's to gain positive attention from very small children, as anyone with an IQ over 70 can figure out. Yeah, I mean, that's what it looks like to me, but what do I know? Barilla Furman for $1 says nothing. Thank you. Logistical Nightmare for 10 says, the podcast episode has made me think about Ethan Ralph mocking Aiden Paladin than any other Maddie episode ever. Your torch lights the way, Josh. Your torch lights the way. It is a very funny thing that he came up with on the spot. I don't know. It was a very good Ethan Ralphism, and he doesn't employ it very often. He got so pissed because Aiden Paladin said something about the Kiwi Farms that was positive, and he was like super beefing with the forum. So he's like, oh, Aiden, what a brave stance you took, Aiden. Oh, let's everyone give her a round of fucking applause and a slap on the ass. What a brave stance you took, Aiden Paladin. Your torch lights the way. I don't know how, like, it's honestly one of his best moments ever. Foxes for 5 says, here's 5 to put towards your divorce proceedings with Lidl. I don't want 2 Christmases. Don't worry, we'll share custody. Richwood Pasta for 5 says, for the divorce fund. Thank you, I appreciate it. You know how the courts is. Divorce rape is very serious these days, boys. You gotta subscribe, madhatter.locals.com. Citrus Addict for 1 says, that feel when realizing as an adult that Rugrats was an anti-Aryan pro-Jew propaganda for children. I don't remember it being anything too bad with anti-white stuff, but there was lots of like Jewish references in it. But I don't know. I don't care about stuff like that. You know, the Jews are allowed to have their traditions. I honestly don't give a fuck. If they want to light the menorah and sing dreidel, 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 that's kind of charming, you know? It's when they start getting offended at Christmas trees and shit. It's like, you're pushing it. It's when they start building 70-foot tall statues to Hindu gods of death in Texas. That's like, yeah, we should get rid of you. Retard from Sana for 5 says, Josh, do some nicotine pouches to sate your pizza less so you can lose some weight. Get the Finnish one called Moakyo. So good it gives you head high. I don't think that is the correct way to lose weight. I did consider smoking at some point, but I think that's a bad idea. Sneedo for 10 says, Las Vegas. Oh, fuck. I lost it. Las Vegas is something else. Okay. Let's see if this one loads. There's a Catbox file. Let me try again. I need some way to like open fucking files from my overlay. Okay, that's loading. I'm sorry. You guys, you know, it's a risk to send me links. I don't know if I can always open them. Coley Dante for 20 says, legally, I cannot advocate that you push federal employees over in the playground. So as a... Wait, I loaded. Okay. Let me pause. Actually, let me finish reading this. So as a consummate law respecter, I strongly discourage you from pushing over federal employees in the playground. Never do it, chat. Never. It's not worth it. It's not worth pushing over a federal employee. Always respect, especially our ICE employees. They deserve our respect and love. You got $1? Dude, she's on the scene reporting about how like the businesses are suffering from the lack of Mexicans, and then she's just like randomly accosted by like a fucking Fent zombie. What? You're not in a good neighborhood, lady. It's probably time to get the fuck out. What is this? She's like a white girl. Yeah, it's time to get the fuck out, blonde-haired white girl. You're in a bad neighborhood. Barolo Furman for 1 says, darn, even Rucka made a red coin. Sucks how it seems no one's got integrity. Even Stone Toss did one a while ago. Stone Toss made like $2 million off that. In his defense, he was one of the first, and he did an NFT with like custom art. I would say that Stone Toss's NFT thing was like one of the better ones. And I think that the people who bought his flirks are like satisfied with their purchase. I'm not sure about that. Sneeda Stanley, Rucka is very late to the fucking meme corn shit. Sneeda Stanley for 1 says, it's not even the Jeets that ruined Halo. 343 Industries literally hired people who hated Halo and refused to hire people from Bungie to make the new Halo games. They actually bragged about this. Yeah, that's how they do it. I don't know why. Well, I do know why. They hate you. Spingle Cat for 10 says, Josh, did you see the Kino Casino broke into the Hassan orbiters for some guy named Millhouse was mad at them? And then there is a YouTube link. No? I don't know why I would see that.
Misery.
It's over.
It's fucking.
It's over.
It is. It is. Look at Milhouse. He's coping.
He's a fucking brown guy, dude. I can't get into like the Hassan sphere because it's like I literally, and I'm not even saying this just to be hyperbolic or whatever for entertainment value. If a brown person starts talking to me about their politics and how they think I should think, my mind just goes whoop, ears closed, mind shut, eyes unfocused. I'm out. My brain's out. I don't care. I will never care. You will never persuade me to think any differently. I don't want to hear what you have to say. I can't even waste my breath like critiquing your points because you're just different than me and nothing you say actually matters to me. Thank you. Docs Found for 5 says, did you get a Springfield Hellcat? I did not. GG for 3 says, hey Josh, I heard you talk about how there isn't much introspective anymore, and I wonder if you heard of J Electronica. Guy's a fucking rabbit hole, and I recommend his song Exhibit A and C. I have not heard that, sorry. If you post it in the Maddie thread or Josh songs thread, I might look it up. Rozak Bill for 1 says, Nick Fuentes and the Groypers are promoted in order to make the right look as unappealing as possible. It's best to just make fun of them and ignore them as opposed to actually taking them seriously. I mean, that's what I do, basically. But I'm just telling you, like, Sam Hyde is not going to save the right or whatever. And by the way, as far as like the whole like get fit thing, what's the point of getting fit if you're taking like drugs to do it? If you're taking like a substance that makes you like a fucking roid monkey retard that flips over tables like a fucking neighbor, like what's the point? I thought the whole point of getting fit was to fulfill that Greek Western complex of experiencing your body at its peak performance and how mental health and physical health are copacetic and symbiotic and they work together. So when you have a physical body in shape, your mind's also in shape. Well, like what's the fucking point if you're just going to take GPL-1 and then take TRT or whatever to get into shape? Like there's no point to that. The point's to be healthy. The point's not to be the biggest monkey in the zoo, you know? So honestly, like, what's the fucking point? To get as jacked as humanly possible? Is there like a difference in respect meter between being jacked and like really jacked because you're taking testosterone? Is like, I don't understand the monkey mindset, I guess, where it's like, as long as you're like in good shape, then you feel better and you think better and you talk better and you're more persuasive, and it's like that's all you need. You need like practical strength from doing stuff. You don't need muscles. This is my fat take on it, I guess, but I find it extremely embarrassing for some. I can't, like, I'm surprised people admit it. Like, yeah, I take testosterone supplements to get bigger. Like, isn't that embarrassing to you? That would be like if I wasn't losing weight by counting calories and I was losing weight by taking GPL-1 or by getting my stomach stapled. Like, that's not impressive. Anyone can do that. Anyone can go onto a table and have somebody with a saw hack out their fat. You know, it's like, I know you still have to lift weights for the testosterone to make you bigger, but I don't see the point. Spingle Cat for 1 says, since the Iron Mouse is a crip, it won't be long till the Sweaty Squad gets their cripple VTuber debut from Jim. I don't know. I don't think he'll go that far. Maybe he needs to get, what's her face? Jade. She can do it. She needs to promote her streams. She can debut at something. What's like a Chinese thing? Is there like a panda VTuber? She's not Chinese, sorry. She might get mad at that. I don't know if I want to invoke that kind of yellow rage at me. What is she? She's Vietnamese, right? What's like a Vietnamese animal? Is there a Vietnamese animal? She's Korean? I thought she was Vietnamese. Let's see. Official animal of Vietnam. The water buffalo. That would be cute. Water buffalo female. Do they have the horns, the females? They do. They're just smaller. Okay. Water buffalo VTuber. Does this exist? There are a few, but there's no popular ones. This you can do this. The water buffalo, chat. The water buffalo. Is she Korean? You guys can't cut the fuck. I thought you guys were racist. You can't even tell me what kind of yellow she is. Fucking useless. Fatty Catty for 2 says, whenever you see a brown person, remember boomers did this to my country so their 401ks would go up because they made poor fiscal decisions. It's true. Green line must go up. Rawmurger producer says, did anyone seem weird or annoying at the gun range? I'm getting sick of how cramped new indoor ones are, and I'm getting how nosy the supervisors are. Lack of snacks too. A guy got into an argument with the range supervisor because he started loading his gun before he got to the shooting area, and the range supervisor gave him shit for it. He got really upset about that. I'm like, I don't know. I take gun safety very, very seriously, and when people are not doing what they should, I get irritated by that. I was at an outdoor range, and a guy and his friend came up, and they shot literally like one magazine of, I swear to fucking God, like a Desert Eagle. It was a massive gun that was like chrome plated, and they fired like one magazine of it. I guess because that's all they could afford, because it's like those bullets are like $2 each or some shit, and they didn't wear ear protection. I'm like, are you fucking nuts? Like, I was there with a rifle. I'm like, can I shoot? You guys aren't wearing earmuffs or anything. He's like, yeah, go ahead. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, how do you sit there and fire that and then not? I was like in shock. I was very concerned, and I didn't like being around them, because it's like, why are you doing this? No, I'm very I was taught gun safety by my grandfather, who served in the military, and he knew all the things about how you have to pretend that there's like a laser shooting out of your gun, and if it crosses anything, then that thing could die, you know. So you always have to make sure your gun's not pointed at anything, and then so on and so forth, all these different things. So I'm a novice shooter, really, so I try to be very careful. Basically, and I feel like some people get way too comfortable with their guns, and it's like, I don't know, you should have a little bit more respect for your weapon. That thing can kill everybody here. Yeah, that's right. The number one rule of gun safety: have fun. Let's see. Black Star Sneed for 5 says, what I sent my wrestling deathmatch is the trashiest I can get and most retarded, but also the most Kino. Guys, the price of a YouTube video is $10, because otherwise we literally never ever get through Super Chat segment. And this is just wrestling. Like, I can't even play this on my stream because it gets hit with I'm not playing this, bro. That's like violent, and I think that's copyright. It's going to get me in trouble. Fentard for 7 says, just want to call you a neighbor one last time. Thank you, Fentard. I appreciate it. And Brillo Herman for 3 says, you're thinking of Flurks, his NFT. He made a Burger Coin NFT hybrid, though, that sank all the way to the bottom after a few days. Yeah, I mean, the first one was, like, people actually talked about it on Biz and stuff, so there was some hype. But I didn't hear much about his second one. I completely forgot about it. All right, let's see what I have for music. I picked my music, by the way, in case you're wondering, by listening to stuff while I drive. And then later on, I go through my likes. I try to find something kind of relevant, at least. And Arch is freezing on me, as it does. I'm going to blame Wayland for that, because that's the current hip trend thing, to blame Wayland. Oh, I could play this. You know what? Both of those are good choices. Let me check something real quick, and I'll pick one. Do you guys want country, or do you want, like, 90s, like, I don't know, just 90s music? I think that's the best way to put it. Talk down, chat. Okay, I see one vote for country. I see one for 90s. I see 2 for country. I see multiple country. I see one person named Cheese Enjoyer saying not country. The 90s are coming in. The millennials are fighting back. Okay, I see 90s. Okay, I will let the 90s have it then, because I feel like the other song was I could probably say that for a better stream. Okay. Can we put this in? Then, all right, I will see you guys on Saturday at the Kino Casino if you are going to be watching that. And if not, Kurt Metzger, I will post the link to his podcast when that airs on Monday at 3 p.m., I think. And if not, then I'll see you on Friday. Take it easy. Have a great weekend. Thank you, and bye-bye. Since I'm feeling ornery, this is my song pick. It wants to load. Why the fuck is YouTube so fucking slow? You have no excuse for being so fucking slow, YouTube. How many trillions of dollars? Is this seriously not going to play? Experiencing interruptions? Yeah, I fucking am. Do you just not work anymore, YouTube? If I open it on the other browser? There we go. Okay, bye-bye.